Call the meeting to order. If we could, Bill, would you like to do the invocation?
Do that first?
Yep.
No, we do the pledge.
Invocation first.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give thanks for those who have gathered here tonight. We give thanks for safe travel here and those who might be on their way. We're so blessed for all the energy that comes into these meetings to try and make a better tomorrow for this city. We give thanks for all those who are in harm's way today. And ask that your grace be over them and bring them back home safely. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Roll call.
Here's Gerald. Hey, Gerald.
Member Jarrett,
Here.
Member Lanfair,
Here.
Member Sevigi, Member Shepherd,
Here.
Member Downey.
Here.
Member Snell,
He's here.
and Chair Hayes. Chair Hayes.
Okay, moving on to item B, consent agenda. No meeting minutes for approval. Move on to item C, action agenda. Number 1, Highlands County Tourist Development Council, TDC, Casey Hart, Tourism Director.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all so much for having me. This is a really exciting time for not just Avon Park, but Highlands County as we get ready to welcome Avon Park Pro Watercross this weekend at Lake Verona. I was able to drive by and see the setup. For those of you not familiar with Pro Watercross, there is a new owner. His name is Sean Dudek. He is very young and excited. He did get in a little bit of a jet ski accident, so I don't know what condition he's going to be when he gets here, but he's really excited to be in Avon Park. They loved it last time they were here, and I hope everyone here welcomes them with open arms. So I thought it was good timing for you to just hear an update on what we're doing from a tourism development standpoint for all of Highlands County, seeing as how you guys have a big event coming up this weekend. So I am ready for the slideshow. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And I can go ahead and start. So what we've been doing a lot of work on how do we showcase everything that we have to offer in Highlands County. And what I mean by that is, a couple years ago, HGTV came in and captured some exciting things in Sebring and downtown Sebring. But we wanted people to know, hey, we don't have one charming downtown. We have 3 charming downtowns. So this is our tagline. You can see 3 communities, endless possibilities. And I will say, too, since I've been involved with TDC, which has been about 10 years now, we've really become a destination management organization. When I started, we were placing ads, marketing to tourists. But the role of the TDC, and not just ours, but everywhere, really across the world has changed, and COVID changed that. Next slide. So the TDC, we are a county department, but we are not funded by general revenue. So we are funded by what we call the tourist development tax. So if you travel to, say, Orlando and spend the night, you will be subject to their tourist development tax. So it's anything that's a 6-month or less stay. It's known as a transient stay. So anyone in Airbnbs, hotels, VRBOs, and yes, even those people that rent a house for a week, technically they should be paying the TDT. If you're here for the races or anything like that, it's less than 6 months. We are the development council. My colleague Reagan says we put the D in development because, again, a lot of people are like, oh, you must work with the races a lot. And we do, but that's really not our goal. Our goal is to drive economic impact to the county when there's not already tourists here. So how do we get more people here? August, September, October, some of our slower months, because we want people in the hotels. That means there's people in the restaurants, and that there's people in the businesses and walking the streets. So that's really what we do. We do brand as Visit Sebring. That includes the entire county, and that is not a knock to Avon Park or Lake Placid. I'm actually born and raised in Avon Park, so no ill will. It's just when you have a name recognition like Sebring that is due to the International Raceway, you go with what people know. And we did do a study. We asked people, all the names, what they thought. They think Highlands is in North Carolina. They think Lake Placid is in New York. No knock against Avon Park. They don't know Avon Park, which probably may be a good thing for you guys. But as far as name recognition and branding, they know Sebring. So that is why we do brand that, but we do include the whole county. The TDC is chaired by Commissioner Chris Campbell, and we have 8 other members appointed by County Commission. And we are governed by a state statute, so it's very clear on how those people are chosen. 3 of them have to be people that actually collect the tax, and then 3 of them have to be in association with tourism. And then the other 2, one is from the largest municipality, which is always Sebring. And then what we do is we take turns between Sebring and Avon Park and Lake Placid for the other seat. And so I know Brittany McGuire just came back on for Avon Park. We are a small department of 3. There's literally 3 people in our office. So keep that in mind as we move forward, because I think we do quite a bit. Next slide. We do have help of what we call our external team partners, and Jason have been part of our regional team, so they've met a lot of these people. We have a public relations, media relations team in New York City. Madden Media they're really nationwide. They handle our marketing, our digital advertising, our search engine optimization, search engine marketing, all the things. Our key rep is based in Austin, Texas, but they're across the country. Airstream Ventures, they are in charge of sport event recruitment. So they are part of the reason why Pro Watercross is here this weekend. We pay them an annual fee, and they in turn bring events to us. And when we have them bring events to us, we show them everything we have to offer. So I always use Spartan as an example. We have a big Spartan race, and I've literally taken them to every corner of this county trying to find a location that worked for them. And they finally found it at Skipper Ranch. But once people are here, once the event organizer comes here, it's really up to them to decide what location works best for them. Biggest Fish, if anyone has had the pleasure of meeting Shelly Phelps, she is a spark plug. She is our industry relations person. We brought her on. She helped with the HGTV, kind of educating us on what we were going to expect with HGTV. And what we realized is that it's not really just about a TV show. It wasn't just a one-hit wonder. But what happened is the community really rallied around that. And when I say the community, all 3 cities rallied around that. So how do we collaborate and work together better as a county? Because as you know, a rising tide raises all ships, and we can help each other. So she's been great. We also launched a hospitality training, which is specific to Highlands County, because we knew when people were coming for HGTV, they saw warm and welcoming and hospitable people on the show. So we wanted them to have that here. So she's probably trained over 100 people now through our hospitality training, and she's going to be here Monday at Pinecrest and Sand Hill Grill doing another training. So we're really excited about that. Synergy Sports, they are our sports facility data and development team. We have hired them. We started with them in, I think, late 2023, doing a feasibility study on all of our facilities all across the county. And when I say facility, I mean, it's shooting ranges, it's horseshoes, it's everything. And so 6 of them bubbled up to the surface. And so we've been going down the path with the ones that are interested in working with us and continuing that. Huddle Up Group, we started with them in 2020 to do sports tourism destination audit. So they were the very first ones that we dealt with, and our audit in 2020, we had 1 score. I can't remember what it was. We did another audit with them a couple years later, and our score went up. So they actually have like tangible numbers that they assign to some of the stuff that we have going on, whether it's our sports organization or our grant program. And we did go up with that. So that was exciting. And then Wonder Media is they currently do the Citrus Golf Trail marketing, and we're really excited because we just signed a contract with them after, probably a year of trying to get the agreement signed, that they are going to do a destination channel for us. So if you've ever been to a destination, I know the first one I saw was in the Keys, and there was a show called Reelin' in the Keys. And I would sit there and watch it all the time when we were traveling, because it would interview chefs, it would show you new stores, different things going on within the community. Here's upcoming events. So it'll be a TV show dedicated to Highlands County. For me, I love it because I think all of our tourists will love it, and they'll learn all the different things they can do while they're here. But I also think it's going to answer that question for locals of what is there to do. Everyone kind of has that. Here's that, what is there to do here for kids, or what is there here to do for while my family's visiting? And this will answer some of those questions. It will be hopefully streamed in the hotel rooms, but then also on Apple, Roku, and all those different online platforms. Next slide, please.
Hospitality training. Who's that available to?
Anybody. So the one I was,
Private or public?
so this is a great question. So when we designed it with the thought that it was going to be for restaurants and hotels. And we had our first one, and we had nonprofits, we've had carpet stores. It's been really wide open, and it's been a great networking opportunity for people. But it's open to anybody. If you have volunteers, if you have board members, and I wouldn't even say it's kind of morphed into more than hospitality. It's like, how do you be an ambassador for Highlands County is really what it's become. So on Monday, there's one specifically for Sand Hill Grill and the Pinecrest staff. They've wanted us to come in and do one specifically for them. And then there's one at 1:00 that same day that's open to anybody. And I'm happy to send you the link for that. It's free. We pay for it. And there's a really fun trivia. Like she has like 100 questions of trivia about Highlands County. I guarantee you will learn something. But it is a lot of fun, and I'm happy to send the link out.
How many
after
people
this
have gone
meeting.
through?
She's done probably, I think like 120 something maybe to date.
Cool.
Like, but even Faded on the day off. I think they were closed on a Monday. They brought her in. The staff came in on their day off and went through the training.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, and they loved it. All of her reviews are really, really good. So
Where my mind runs to is they built a new building out at the school. And during the Christmas break, they had 28 schools come and compete for 10 days in cheer competition. And that's just a bunch of educators coming together, trying to take care of it. But there's the art of the possible in learning how to be more hospitable and I'm sure somebody would sit through that and go, they could connect the dots pretty quick, but they know nothing of this, nor did I. There's leagues everywhere that bring thousands of people in to have a 2-week baseball tournament. But they just think of what happens on the ground.
right.
They don't think about all the hospitality, but they need educated. They need trained.
Correct.
They need just to think beyond, put it on a baseball game or something.
Yes,
And
sir.
it just goes on and on and on. The training is invaluable just to be able to reflect on next year what we might use. And I don't know how often they come, how often you're contracted for them to.
She comes, well, this contract, she drives from Alabama 9 hours each way, 10 months out of the 12.
Wow.
I think next year we're going to do something a little different where maybe she only comes 7 times, but she stays longer. So her drive, it's been a lot for her to drive.
But thank you very much, because I'm pretty confident it's a well-kept secret.
Well,
The
thank
training
you.
part.
We try to tell people, but we also think like hospitality training, people might think that's not for me.
Right.
But, maybe we do change the name to an ambassador training or something like that. It might be more appropriate. So we're open to feedback.
Well, thank you.
I'll send you the link for sure. That's a great idea. And that's what I think too. If you think about when you travel somewhere, it's not always about what you do or where you go, but how you were treated and how you felt when you left. I've been to some places that I didn't think were, going to be that appealing, but I had a really good time there. I've been to Arkansas and everyone was really nice to me, and I recommend Arkansas now, so.
Well, even what you're doing for Avon Park's doing for itself with the water course. That's 2 hours. How am I treated for the other 22?
Right.
Why would I think of this place other than the 2 hours I spent looking at somebody doing something I never want to try?
For sure. And I think we forget that like tourism, and when you're a tourist, it's about that feeling, how do you feel? And that's why the training was so important to us, because we want people to feel welcome. We want people to be like, oh my gosh, you're in Avon Park, you should go see this in Sebring and go see this in Lake Placid, and vice versa. Like it's definitely reciprocal. Because obviously if they're coming to the central part of Florida, to a small town, they like that. And we have 3 of them. So
Thank you.
So I did mention, we're not just marketing, it's really an overall strategy for managing location. We do still do marketing, but it's really what's the reputation of a place? What do people think of when they think of Avon Park or the Sebring area? What do they think of when, you say Lake Placid? Do they think of New York, or do they even know Lake Placid, Florida exists? And then how do we successfully transform a destination with tourism with certain goals in mind. And by that, I mean, we are collecting a tax from these tourists. So what do we do to reinvest that back in the community to make it a great place for people to live? Because we really do, at the end of the day, we serve the residents, but we collect money by the tourist. So, oh, this is a snapshot of our Sebring area geo tour that we did. We actually did this in 2020. We looked really smart because we started working on this in the beginning of 2020. Has anybody ever done geocaches before? Like geocache, where you do, you've done it, yeah. So it's basically an online scavenger hunt on your phone. And we started working on this in early 2020. We saw this and we were like, this is really cool because it's doing what we want. It's moving people around the county. So we did 4 different trails. I think there's Ranch and Harvest, there's Art and Culture, there's Parks and Recreation, and there's one more. I can't read it. Anyway, there's 4 trails. So they're all themed, and they go there and they find these caches. They're like little boxes, and then they write their name and they log that they were there. People love it. So in early 2020, we started working on this, and then COVID hit. Well, guess what? We have a free outdoor scavenger hunt for people. So it was a really big hit, but you can see how we've incorporated all 3 cities into what we do. Like, this is just part of the marketing. It's very cohesive as far as the imagery of the destination.
Looks like historic is the other one.
Historic. Thank you. I need glasses. Thank you, Charles. Next slide, please. So this is kind of the new model. You can see the logo for Destinations International. This is what they call the Community Vitality Wheel. And this is really what came out of what we learned about a tourism destination or tourism development office after COVID. So basically, and you guys can all read this, but if you build a place where people want to visit, then you have built a place where people want to live. If you build a place where they want to live, then you built a place where they want to work. If you build a place where they want to work, then you built a place where business and residents want to invest, and so on, and then they want to invest. And then it just keeps going around and around. But this is really what we look at. So a lot of people I talk to are like, oh, tourism doesn't impact me. But it does, because unless you were raised here, the first time you came here was as a tourist. Like, if you moved here or if you started school here, if you came to visit family, you came through the lens of a tourist.
Yep.
And so that's really important. And that's what we keep in mind when we start looking at things, is how is this going to resonate with a tourist, because the circle is going to go around. Next slide. This is some economic impact information. Again, a lot of people don't think tourism, when they think of Highlands County, they might think of agriculture or different industries. But really, tourism is a big part of what we do. And I tell people, because they say, describe Highlands County to me. And I say, well, it is a small rural county, much like the counties around us. But because of that racetrack, we have a lot of amenities that the other counties don't have. We have some great hotels. We have some great restaurants. We have Starbucks. We have a lot of things that the other counties don't have. And a lot of that is due to the raceway, because our tourism got built up to support the raceway. And that's why you see some of the visitor spending. I love looking at the different categories like food and beverage, lodging, shopping, different things like that. And then you also look at jobs, direct and indirect jobs, for a total of almost 4,500 jobs that are attributed directly to tourism.
I remember back in the day when we were in high school, Avon Park High School, they used to have the downtown race parade,
Yes,
which was a real big hit.
it was a big deal.
High school bands
Yeah.
participated in. Yeah.
So in March, when the races came, you guys did that?
It was big, floats and everything. Those are anybody in the audience that was in the band. Remember the race parade.
That's really
downtown
cool.
Sebring.
I don't. Oh, in Sebring. I thought you meant
yeah,
Avon
it
Park.
was
Oh,
in
yes,
Sebring.
yes.
Not
yes.
Avon Park.
Yeah. Well, now they do the transporter parade, which is pretty cool. The big semis that transport the cars. They do those as part of the race. Yeah. I was going to say, wow, if Avon
Well,
Park
we
did a
had
parade for
our
us.
parades.
Yeah. No. Everyone's got their thing, and that we'll talk about that too. Like, I think that's one of the things that makes Highlands County so unique and special, is that all of our towns have such different personalities, and it makes it really, really fun for a visitor. Next slide. So I show this slide because if somebody's looking to travel to Florida, or they're in Florida, these are all their choices. So if you live in Atlanta, why are you going to pick Highlands County? These are all your choices.
It's small.
Small?
Now people leave to get away from the big city hustle and bustle.
That's a great point.
Quieter. Yeah.
Quiet, yeah.
Less traffic.
Cheaper.
Cheaper?
Crime rate is lesser, it's minimized.
Yep, for visitors. They feel safe here. So this is, when we look at our competition, this is our competition. We are not, Sebring is not competing with Avon Park, Lake Placid is not competing with Sebring, vice versa. We are competing with these other, I would say specifically the inland counties. Because if people are going to the beach, that's probably not our market, or if they're going to a theme park, they're probably not looking for what we have to offer. But, you know, from Gainesville down to south of us, that's our competition. So we feel like if we get a visitor that chose us over Polk County or Osceola County or Marion County, Alachua County, that's a win for us. And that's, I feel like from a tourism lens, that's who we should be thinking of our competition and not with each other. Next slide. So this is our vision statement. We did a strategic plan back in 2019. And you can see we used a lot of research-based decisions. A lot of our data comes from a lot of the consultants that we use, whether it's our digital marketing or our sports facilities. We really make sure that the decisions that the TDC's made or the decisions that we provide to them is rooted with data, because that's really important. And then a couple of things that we heard when we were doing this and we did the stakeholder meetings is that people were concerned that we raise a lot of good kids here, but they leave and they don't come back. So how do we create a place where people want to stay or they want to return to after they've maybe moved away for a couple of years? How do we improve the quality of life for our residents? How do we reduce seasonal employment? You know, so some of these restaurants that close during the month of August or are really slow and struggle during August and September, how do we help them? And then how do we create a place for families to raise their children? Because some of these kids that are leaving, they would come back if they felt like there was a great place for them to raise their kids.
Yeah, it's come up a couple times in our workshops, the exact
Yes,
same thing.
the exact same thing, yes.
Yeah.
So these are the things that I know, you know, they don't, like, you may not think they directly relate to tourism, but they do. And we'll walk through a little bit how we're working on some of those things. Next slide. So these were our strategic pillars, and this is a photo of a recent event we brought to Sebring called Doc Dogs, where the dogs were the athletes. We had four-legged athletes this time, where they actually jump into a pool, and we brought that in conjunction with the Sebring Soda Festival. So there was an emphasis on digital assets and
seeing that. Yeah,
What, you seen that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you see it on TV. It's
Mhm.
crazy. So this was back in 2019. So there was an emphasis placed on digital assets and advertising. And by that, I mean, when we're looking to capture someone from Sarasota or Miami or Jacksonville, even when I start looking to plan a trip, I go to my phone, I go to my laptop. Like I'm on a digital platform looking, how do I plan a trip? Where do I want to go? What's around it that I can do? So that's where we have to go and we have to meet the visitor there. A lot of our stuff at that time was still printed, which we still do print stuff, but we wanted to be on the platform where the visitor is looking for ideas and inspiration on travel. We also, more public relations and media relations to increase our brand awareness. So you may see, like, we've been in Southern Living and different, and TripAdvisor and different platforms like that have mentioned some or not all of our cities. And that is because we have a PR firm in New York. So she's in touch with these travel writers that are looking for content. And they may say, it has been so specific that they're like, we're looking for a European themed wine bar. And we're like, oh, Monserc, like we have one. Or it could be a garden enthusiast and they're looking for something garden related. And we're like, oh, we have a cleaning festival. So you never know what these travel writers are looking for, but as long as she knows what we have to offer, she can plug that in. And then a lot of times we do get stories written about us. And I love that because it's free. We call it earned media. And that's actually a third party talking about how great our destination is. And then number 3 is projects to make the destination more appealing and engaging to visitors. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Industry and partner engagement and education. So that is doing a lot of stakeholder meetings. We found out that a lot of stakeholders, and when I say stakeholders, we have restaurants and hotels and fishing and golf and art and culture. These are all our stakeholder groups. They don't have time to come to our meetings. So we have fewer meetings, but now we have more stakeholder meetings. And we learn a lot during these stakeholder meetings. For example, when COVID was happening, we met with our restaurants, and I came with this whole deck of, oh, we're going to do this great restaurant week because you need more business in your restaurant. And I will never forget, the owner of Nutmegs in Sebring said, Casey, I just need people to be nice to me. Somebody threw a sandwich at me yesterday. So we're like, oh gosh, you're dealing with something we didn't even realize. So we pivoted really quickly and we designed a Be Nice campaign, that they could stick on their windows, and any of the restaurants that came to our meetings, we helped them. And I think there was even an article in the newspaper about it. So just asking people to be kind to these restaurateurs and the employees because they were going through a lot and dealing with a lot. So those are things that we didn't know. Sitting in an office, we don't know until we get out and talk to people. We also streamline administrative duties, which from going from a TDC meeting every month to once a quarter really helped. And then also our facility enhancement and development projects, which we'll talk about too. Next slide. So this is just a snapshot of what we look at on a monthly basis. And this is just one slide of probably 20 slides. We're constantly looking at our website, constantly looking at our search engine optimization results. What are people clicking on? What are they interested in? And then how do we develop more content, whether it's on our website or through blog posts, to serve that information to people that are looking for stuff. So we look at their top things to do in Avon Park. We have a blog post about it. Avon Park City page. We have a page dedicated to it. We go in, we make sure it's updated. But also on search engine. So what are they searching for to get to our website? Well, we just met with our team last week, and I can tell you a lot of the searches are things to do in Sebring, things to do in or near Sebring, things to do in the Sebring area. And so what happens with that is when they search for that, they're looking for Sebring because they know the brand, but all the events throughout Highlands County come up. So they're getting more information than they even know. We also see like outbound clicks, and year over year, we measure all kinds of stuff. If you come to any of our TDC meetings, all of our consultants give a very, very comprehensive update. But I just wanted to show this because we look at everything going on with the website on a monthly basis. Next slide. This was coming out of, or once HGTV, we knew that Sebring was picked for HGTV. We worked with our team pretty quickly, and we developed a Come Full Circle creative campaign. And so you can read that because even our campaigns, our marketing campaigns, are talking about the three cities. How do you create memories here? How do you come full circle? We are so accessible. We're our central location. And it all kind of started with the idea that we knew the circle was going to be a key focus during HGTV. So how do we lean into that idea of a circle and the circle of friends? And that's how we do things when we do different campaigns. We make sure everyone's represented. Next slide. So a lot of people ask me, why sports tourism? Why are you not talking about other forms of tourism? And we do. We talk to art and culture groups. We do art and culture things. I'll actually talk about an initiative that's not sports related. But when you look at this tourism world, sports tourism is the most recession proof. It's the first to bounce back after COVID. Because if you think about it, and I have a kid who does 2 sports, no matter what's happening, if there's a rodeo or a baseball game, I'm taking my kid. And I'm going to pick that over my leisure trip. If I have to forego my personal leisure vacation to say North Carolina, that may have to come second because my kid has a rodeo or my kid has a baseball game. And so that's what we saw after COVID. Even though people weren't traveling as much, if your wife was a triathlete or your kid played travel soccer, you were still going. They may have taken April off, but they came right back to it. So sports is very, very solid. And the other thing is it allows us to be intentional with our tourism grant funds. So we can say, you know what, this lacrosse event wants to come to us in March. We're not going to fund that. We have enough tourists in March, but hey, will you come back in May? So we can plug these events in because we use our grants. We can plug them into exactly when we want them here to fill those hotels and restaurants. And then these are just some of the things I think we kind of fall into some buckets. So endurance racing, obviously we're known for, the 12 hours of Sebring, but we've kind of spun off in other things. So Spartan, if anyone has ever seen that, that's an obstacle endurance race, which, you know, is kind of crazy. I can't believe people pay to do that, but they do. GFNY, which is cycling event, pro watercross, you guys know is jet ski racing, moto surf is motorized surfboard racing. Last Paddler Standing is an event that came to Lake Placid in December, and it was really addicting to watch. It was 24/7 live stream, and it is an endurance paddleboard race where they start on Saturday morning, and they have a loop to do. They did this in Lake June. They paddled, and you had an hour to complete it. So if you came back in 45 minutes, you had 15 minutes to rest. If you took 55 minutes, you only have 5 minutes to rest. And then at the top of the hour, they had to go back and do the loop again. And they did that for 48 hours. After 48 hours, they expanded the loop. These people didn't sleep. They had camps. They had like people helping them camp in H.L. Bishop Park.
Wow.
And we kind of was like, oh, that's cool, you know, that's neat. But we started watching the live stream, and you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my gosh, how many paddlers are left? So it was a really neat event, and some of these niche events are really great. They're bringing people from all over the world. I met so many people, like people from England came, and you know, all these different tropical places. All these people are paddleboards, but if you're into a sport, you're really into it. Powerboat racing, we also had them come to Lake Placid. So you can kind of see a theme of endurance racing happening here. And it doesn't matter which city they're in, but they're coming here because we're known for endurance racing. And then lacrosse has also been really big for us. We've actually gotten the point, though, where we were hosting a lot of lacrosse events at the sports complex in Sebring. Then the lacrosse events got so big, we had to put them in Lake Placid, too, because they had some flat fields. Now we're at the point where they're too big. They have too many teams. We don't have enough space for them here in Highlands County. So we are looking to do some expansion at the sports complex, which I'll talk about. And then we're also, as many of you know, being from Avon Park, we're a proving ground for young golfers. Everybody knows that with Pinecrest. And these are all the different groups that we've hosted from the Minor League Golf Tour. The Citrus Golf Trail Open is an event we actually created because of the Citrus Golf Trail marketing group. The Citrus Golf Trail Ladies Invitational used to be called the Harder Hall Ladies Invitational. It's been around for decades. When Harder Hall Golf Course sold, we didn't want to lose that, so we rebranded it as Citrus Golf Trail Ladies Invitational. And then the Hurricane Golf Junior Tour and the American Junior Golf Association, or the AJGA. So we've had a lot of these golf events come. Next slide. And these aren't the only ones we do. These are just kind of a snapshot of some of the stuff. And so I mentioned the tourism research that we've done. So what recreation do tourists and locals want? That was one of the questions that we asked in 2023, because it's really important that we merge them and what everybody wants together. And we heard a lot from the locals. There were actually 571 hard data comments back, and I've read all of them, of what locals want. And some of that is, private investment, right? Some of it is bowling alleys and putt-putt golf. And that's really not what government, at least the tourism office, is really here for. If there's a private investor that wants to do that, that's great. But there's things that we can do, more playability, more recreation, more amenities. A lot of the feedback was playgrounds. And when we started looking at it, we realized we have a lot of playgrounds, but there wasn't one place on the internet where everyone could find all the playgrounds. If you Googled Sebring playgrounds, you could find some. If you Googled Avon Park playgrounds. But when we really put the list together, we have a lot of playgrounds in Highlands County, and a lot of them that people didn't even know about. So that was one of the benefits for locals. We did put it all in one spot, and we have a QR code, and we have a recreation flyer. So now people can find that. And especially, I think that was important during that time because people were moving here. There were a lot of new people. They didn't know to Google Sudden Lake Playground. They didn't know to Google Spring Lake Playground. They were just kind of Googling whatever they thought might help give them the most results. So these are things that while we do these studies, we do see tangible benefits. They're not just studies that sit on the shelf. And then the tourism dollars fund these facility improvements and help operational via rental fees. So I mentioned our grant program. So what happens is a lacrosse event comes to us, they apply for a grant, they get a certain number of dollars based on how many hotel nights they're going to have, and then they use that money to pay their facility rentals. So we're in turn paying for these facilities. We, TDC, are in turn, but it's kind of a pay-to-play kind of scenario. So the feasibility study in late 2023 recommended we expand the current sports complex, more flat fields and diamonds. outsource the management to a third party, and then develop an indoor facility, also third-party management. And these were recommendations directly for the county, for county-owned projects or county-driven projects. Next slide. And that is actually that was a picture of the lacrosse event when it took place at Lake June. They really loved that site in Lake Placid. So when we look at tourism facilities, and we just got this question from somebody at Avon Park about your fields out by the airport. And so when we look at flat fields, pools, diamonds, hardwood courts, and indoor track, you can see tournament friendly means the minimum number for a tournament to consider us. Anchor facility means that's a home run, no pun intended. These event organizers, just like every other business, work on economies of scale, right? So the more fields they have, or the more volleyball courts they have, the more teams they can bring in and the more money they can make with their event. So it's not an incentive if, like at the sports complex, we have 4 flat fields. Well, we're not even, we're just trying to make what we can work. We're not even near the 8 fields that we need to be tournament friendly. So while we have best in Highlands County in some classes, obviously not a pool, we have some work to do. We're not quite where we need to be. So we've been bringing in some things, some smaller events, but to get some of these bigger events, like a statewide event or a regional event, we need to have a little bit more bench strength. Next slide. So a lot of what we do, obviously, we're not even just looking at facilities for, diamonds and flat fields. One of the exercises was, could we have a rodeo arena? And we could, but what this shows us is that from a tourism standpoint, that doesn't make sense. There's all these covered arenas, there's uncovered arenas, there's equestrian centers. Basically, if we thought a rodeo arena would be a good idea from tourism, we would not have anywhere to pull from because there's already so many other rodeo arenas. Does it make sense as a community asset? Possibly. But as a tourism asset where we're hoping that people come and rent it, there's already so much competition in our space that wouldn't make sense for us. Next slide. And so this is the same model, but if we look at indoor facilities. And so when I say indoor facility, this is an indoor space of about 100,000 square feet dedicated to sports. So there are other locations, there's other indoor facilities that may be 50,000 square feet. There may be some, like in Orlando, that can do multiple things. Convention space, could be sports. But as far as an indoor facility that is dedicated to sports, over 100,000 square feet, there's only one in the state right now, and that's in Gainesville. Next slide. So this was our most recent project, and just wanted to kind of show you guys what we look at and kind of where we are with some of this facility development. So the indoor multi-purpose facility, which that would be that 100,000 square foot indoor facility that could be for anything from horseshoe pitching to cheerleading to volleyball, basketball. You could change the flooring out. It could be anything inside. It could be a rodeo inside. That's on hold as we're looking for a suitable property. We have looked at several different locations, and for a variety of reasons, they haven't panned out. But what we are looking for is either county-owned property or municipally owned property, probably about 20 to 25 acres, or the 2 scenarios we've been looking at, and we actually have a third option too, is people that want to donate land to the county for this sports facility. Because what's going to happen is when the sports facility goes in, it will be a catalyst for development in that area. So say there's a large landowner and they say, they've got 100 acres they want to develop. Well, donating 20 acres may take away some of their opportunity, but it's going to be a catalyst. Then when you have an indoor facility like this, then you're going to have a hotel, then you're going to have restaurants, then you're going to have, possibly some apartments or things like that. So it really, in other destinations, it served as a catalyst. We are still working on the location for that. If anybody has ideas, let me know. Highlands County Sports Complex. So we purchased more land through a grant through the state, Florida Communities Trust Grant. We were able to buy 43 more acres, and we are moving that through the process of expansion. That would be more flat fields and more diamonds. The other recommendation was renovations to Highlands County Fair. And if you all know the fair where they show the livestock, there's that building where they show the livestock, and then there's a weird wall, and then there's like a bunch of unused space. So that was the recommendation, is how do you either tear that building down and rebuild, or retrofit that so it can all be air conditioned, because we've been having cornhole at Allen J and they've outgrown it. That's I think that Allen J is like 30,000 square feet. It's not enough space. They need more space, and they need more space under air. And that would also give the firemen and the fair board more opportunity to program things in there as well. Ideally, it would be one big building, but from an economy standpoint, we understand that if they could just retrofit what they have and put it under air, that would help quite a
Yeah,
bit.
configuration is kind of weird there.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Do they use that more than once a year?
I don't know about that building. I don't think, well, I think in the winter they might put some flea market stuff in there, but
No,
We-
the livestock area.
I don't think so.
That's become its own Little League tournament. The kids go every weekend to show their.
That is, the jackpots are a big deal.
It's big.
It is.
Okay.
No, you're good. Everything you can put your kid in is like on steroids. Like, it's just like, we drove our kid in horse to Vegas. Like, it's crazy what people do. And I'm one of them. Like, I'm the crazy one too.
That's a good.
The fourth recommendation, they looked at Max Long, and they also looked at Max Long reimagined with like possible expansion into the municipal golf course. So the city of Sebring has retained Synergy Sports, who we use to look at Max Long, but only Max Long at this point, because they are looking at doing something else with the municipal golf course. So they are working through that exercise of how do they renovate Max Long, create more parking. Parking is a challenge there. Better fields, the seating, the concession, all that. If you haven't been to Max Long in a while, it's tired and it needs an update. Lake June Park, there was a recommendation for the town to possibly expand their diamonds and flat fields. And it could also, a lot of these, and the reason they have to be municipally owned is because then it enables them to have a public-private partnership. So the public owns the property, and then a private entity comes and builds the facility and leases it back to the municipality. And the idea is, with the financial model, is that through the naming rights, sponsorships, and facility rental, it pays for itself, or at least within the first after the first 5 years, it can pay for itself. So we did present that to Lake Placid. They are planning to place pickleball courts in the park that would prevent the expansion of the existing fields. So that kind of is dead in the water. H.L. Bishop Park, we had some recommendations for that too. If anyone's familiar with H.L. Bishop, it's restricted by available space and parking nearby. So that wasn't, from a tourism standpoint, again, that wasn't really a viable option. It's a great community park, just not for tourism. And then Donaldson Park, there were some recommendations, and I think you guys are kind of going in your own direction. So, next slide.
Well, back on the indoor facility, might be worth exploring. We have a lot of raw land out at the airport that might be feasible.
Is it land that, I don't know anything about that. I guess somebody at one time told me the airport, like, because the grants that the city got, it has to stay at airport. Is that not accurate?
Yes. Our airport has to stay an airport.
Okay.
No.
That's what I was told.
But I mean, on the land there, wouldn't we be able to get other businesses out there like they do out in Sebring?
Yeah, we can put, but they have to be like aviation related businesses on the airport, some kind of serving. And then right on the outskirts, it can be other types of businesses, like, I don't want to say it's import export, but something. It's not big enough, I don't think, for that. So
So we did come and meet with I think Garrett and what's the administrator before you, Jason,
Danielle,
Daniel Kelly.
before her.
Dr. Kelly.
Mark Schrader.
Mark, we met with Mark and Garrett about some, and that was what we were told that at the time, because we were looking at that. This was but if there's any other ideas, we're open to them, Charles, so just let me know. This was the recommendation for Lake Verona, Donaldson Park, a new community center. They actually, I felt like kind of got creative with the RV parking idea. new park and picnic areas, and restroom concession building. I don't know if anybody saw this, so I just wanted to show the slide real quick. The idea with the RV parking, while I know I did hear people were not excited about it, the idea was because you all don't have a lot of hotels, this was a way people could come, you could bring tourism in and you would have a source of revenue as well. So you would have people stay in the park, they would walk to restaurants, they would walk to the shops. So this was the idea. Again, we're always looking through a tourism lens, and that doesn't always match with what the community wants, and we totally understand that. But this was the best option if you were looking at increasing tourism in Avon Park. Next slide. So this is kind of just, a rendering of the indoor facility. If you could go to the next slide. You can see the 10 basketball courts, and we're just kind of using that as a frame of reference. It wouldn't always be hardwood floors. But you see the different things, meeting team rooms, orthopedic, they usually do like a tenant partner, staff offices, performance training center. There would be a cafe and seating, like a family entertainment area, changing rooms, things like that. Because what this is on the weekends, it is a tourism facility, like ideally, like we're bringing in events, we're bringing in groups. But during the week, it's a residential amenity. It's for the community. So different things that they've used the inside for during the week. You could have after school groups. You could have an indoor walking track. You could have indoor pickleball. There's lots of things that it could be used for the community during the week. And then obviously your tourism component on the weekends is what's paying the bills. They're paying a hefty facility rental fee, and that's what's paying the bills. Next slide. And then there's an upper level, there's another like 28,000 square feet of, meeting space, different things. And these are all just, this isn't being built tomorrow. These are all conceptual floor plans. Next slide. And then when we look at the outdoor complex, so you can see the diamonds, the 5 quad diamonds in the middle. That's what's there already. And then there's probably like maybe a field or two below that. So the existing, where you see the new pretty parking, number 2, and then number 1, the multi-purpose fields, and you can see like 7 fields. And then you see on the right side, that is what they're called super fields now. So that can either be 4 diamonds or 1 flat field. It's something that's interchangeable. And so the idea is we would end up having 9 fields there, and then the capability of 8 flat fields. And we're looking at 2 different options. I'll be quite honest, the more expensive option is everything would be turf. Everything would be turf. So that's what we're looking at with that. Next slide. And the county does own all that property. So when you're looking at TDC sponsored sporting events, just some things coming up or things that we had this year. We were able to plug Inspire Dance in at Allen J Arena in May. That's a smaller dance competition. So they're able to use that space. I do have a feeling they're going to outgrow it though. The different golf things we have, I mentioned last Pilar Standing, the Spartan Race. If you have never seen the Spartan Race, we do a VIP tour the Friday before. It's quite impressive. They build like a whole village out at Skipper Ranch at Dr. Skipper's place. And what I love too is you can see this photo. They even do adaptive. They're very heavily involved with the veterans programs. So you see a lot of veterans out there. It's very, very tied into military. So it's a really cool way to give back and show that as well. So if anyone wants to do the VIP tour this year, just let me know. Next slide. And then I talked a little bit about Shelley coming down and what we've been doing with the collaboration. So, this is one of the quotes that she said, success is relational. Visitors do not see city lines. That was her very first meeting when she came to Highlands County. We were at the Jacaranda. This wasn't the actual picture from that meeting, but I wrote down a bunch of notes. In the very last quote at the bottom of this page, she said, "This is not about tourism. This is about positively changing our community for future generations." And that resonated with me. I wrote it down. I use it in every presentation because we do talk about tourism dollars, but it's what we do with the tourism dollars. That's how do we positively impact our community for future generations. And I think that's why we're all here. So this was a picture of, we formed a regional team, which Jason and Jeanette are on that team as representatives from the city, as well as Brittany and also Raquel from the chamber. We meet on a pretty regular basis, maybe not every, we kind of took some time off over the summer, but on every other month, we had a team retreat. But this is a really good team that works really well, and it's representatives from all across the county. We get together, we talk about what's going on in every community, because how are we going to promote each other if we don't know what's going on, right? So we all get together, brainstorm, we work on different ways that we can connect, and how do we connect the city for not just the visitor, but also the resident as well. Jason and Janet, anything you want to add?
I would say when we get together, the ideas that come about in those meetings are excellent. You do a good job putting them on, so thank you.
Thank you. Jeanette, anything?
Ditto to what he just
Yeah.
said, but I also very thrilled when we have those meetings, because I do gain a lot of knowledge on how to make our community better, how to do more for the community and in the community.
And you guys are great partners, so we appreciate it. And what we didn't do at first, but we started doing is we go to different places. So like we were just at the Depot Museum, and so afterwards we take a tour of the baseball. We've been to the Clown College in Lake Placid. We've been to Classic Caladiums. We're going to Sebring Race Garages next. So it's a really cool way for us, even locally, to see what's going on throughout the whole county. Next slide. So just some upcoming TDC opportunities. We are going to be doing a new strategic plan. We will host community stakeholder meetings and interviews, so we would love your input on that. As I mentioned, the Everyone Matters hospitality training, which is free, is going to be August 17th from 1 to 3 p.m. in the Lakes, and I'm happy to get that email out to everyone to please register. We'd love to have everyone there. Surf Sebring is part of the Moto Surf event. It is a free community ride opportunity. I have seen kids from 7 years old to a lady with 77 years old come out and do the moto surf. So don't say I'm too old. Don't say I'm too this. Anyone can ride these. These are like $10,000 to $15,000 motorized surfboards. They're really cool. It's free. There's a lot of after school groups that come out because they do it in the afternoon, and people love it. So they're doing these for 2 different days. The organizer of this, he's from the Czech Republic. And his goal, he got moto surf into the World Games. It's his goal to get moto surf or, motorized surfboard racing into the Olympics. So it's pretty cool that a lot of what started for him was here in Highlands County. He loves it here. And then our tourism award nominations are open. We have 8 categories. Obviously, it must be tourism focused or interact with tourism in some way. And this is for recognition for work for 2026, and we'll announce the winners in 2027. This is a picture of after the hospitality training. Everyone gets a certificate. We do a group photo. So you can see, there's Susan from the Res Easel. There's Joy, who's a town council member from Lake Placid. It's just a really good group. And everyone has fun. It's really fun. Next slide. So, wanted to highlight a couple things coming up for Avon Park. You all know about Pro Watercross. We're super excited. Our estimates show, on average, it has about $120,000 in economic impact for the area. There is going to be an athlete event. Do you want to talk about it, Jeanette, or do you want me to talk about it? So there is a Welcome the Athlete event at the Poorhouse on Friday. I think it's from 5 to 10 p.m. So we encourage everyone to come down and welcome the racers and their families. They're really excited about being here. And then, of course, CBS Sports will be here. So there's going to be a 30-minute recap show on CBS Sports after the event. We don't know the air date yet, but it'll show Avon Park. It will have interviews of different people. It's a really fun event. You have something to add, Jason?
Yeah, and I say, they also, Sean was saying that they're gonna have some drone footage, so we're trying to look our very best. We always do, but especially now. So I think it's gonna be cool. I don't know if they're gonna kind of go in and fly sometimes they go inside the buildings and then they come out and then look around, but it's very captivating. So if that somehow gets out to a national audience, I think that's gonna be amazing for the city, because when you look at our oak canopies and our buildings and historic downtown and get over to Lake Verona, it's going to look amazing. So
Yeah,
I
for
look
sure.
forward to it.
And this is all footage that we're going to use for our destination channel. So it's all footage that we can kind of recreate and show different shows with and things like that. So we're excited. The second thing I wanted to mention is Garden Week. So we met with our hotels and restaurants a couple months ago, and we said, hey, how can we help you? We're from the government. How can we help you? No, just kidding. But we did say this is an open-ended. What are you seeing? What are some challenges? Where can we help? And they all said, well, we will look a little bit better year over year, but August and September are always bad. Kids are back in school, people are done with their summer vacations, they're saving money for holidays. So it's really not a robust time for people to travel. So we looked at the calendar and we said, what is going on those months that maybe we can build upon? And we realized Classic Caladiums has their open house in Avon Park. It's the Friday and Saturday after Labor Day. And so we leaned into that because we said we have so many cool gardens and nature activities in Highlands County. So this is our first ever countywide collaborative event. It's kind of like choose your own adventure, like a restaurant week. You can do one thing, you could not do something else. You can say, I want to get up early and go do this. But there's been about 40 different experiences submitted. We're super excited. We're launching the website soon. You can see the website there, but it's everything from like Faded is going to do a butterfly launch to the state park is doing a couple of different excursions where you can do birding with them. Obviously Classic Clayton's open house. I know Main Street's doing a tour, I think, of downtown. Is that right, Jeanette? For the garden week?
They haven't.
Oh, they haven't told you? Okay. So anyway, lots of things going on. All 3 cities are engaged and we're really excited. So Robin's Nursery, everybody. We emailed everybody and you could participate or not participate. We encouraged it to be not a big lift for anybody because it's our first year. And we also said, knock on wood, we don't have a hurricane. But if everyone just did a little something, we could put it together. So there's farm to table dinners. Susan from the Red Easel is doing some garden themed art classes. So we're just putting it together and creating a garden week. So we're going to see how it goes, but we're excited. Next slide. So please join us. We'd love to have feedback, input. Our next TDC meeting is next Thursday at 8:15 in the morning. We produce quarterly reports that are available to the public. We're happy to get you those. We have an e-newsletter list. We're on social media. And then these are some window clings that we did this year. This was kind of part of what the regional team worked on, right, Jeanette?
Yeah.
Some of the business just said, hey, we just need a cling with a QR code. So we leaned into the tagline. We want people to explore our circle of friends, which is all 3 cities. So those are the window clings. You'll see them. I see them in a lot of downtown stores and all 3 downtown towns. Next slide. That might be it. Oh, so just some takeaways because you guys are a baseball town. I love this quote by Babe Ruth. So I really feel like this embodies what we do from the TDC. The way a team plays as a whole determines its success. You may have the greatest bunch of individual stars in the world, but if they don't play together, the club won't be worth a dime. And I think the way that Lake Placid, Avon Park, and Sebring have been working together, it's definitely been a really good place. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Has there been any discussion with the junior, or I call it the college, on partnering to help with events at their theater, or even trying to focus on getting more and more students there? Because I was thinking about, talking about August and September being real slow months for restaurants. I think they've got roughly 3,000 degree-seeking students right now. If we got it to 10,000 or 15,000,
Sure.
that could fill a lot of restaurants.
Yeah, that's a great question. So Sydney Guerin, who was their performing arts, manager, she was on our board. I don't know. It's something I could ask her, like where to route. She doesn't work there anymore, but where to maybe route that question to. But that's a great idea, Charles, for sure.
Is that considered tourism? The arts?
The arts and culture is considered tourism. And I guess maybe I should back up. So if it really depends on what kind. You're talking about the performing arts theater, or
Yeah,
That's most of them.
yeah, there's 30 plus shows that she put on that were sold out.
yes.
But they didn't come from Highlands County. They came from neighboring counties.
So the reason it is tourism, the reason we may not always be as engaged with that is because most of their shows are January through March.
Right.
So we're focused again, they don't do a lot of shows in like August, September, even June. Not to say we wouldn't be a part of it. We've certainly supported Cindy in other ways and, of course, look forward to working with Harry. too.
Focused on the growth outside of the normal.
Correct.
And they don't want to entertain shows the rest of the year?
I mean, Mr. Jarrett may know more about that than I do.
I'd always heard that when they do have some good concerts there, it's a packed out event and that's got to bring a lot of revenue to the county, I would think. So,
Yeah, it just takes an outside investor to bring that type of talent. The college can't sustain it on their own.
mm,
In the, you have always wondered this, you capture tax dollars from people who live outside of our area as they stay overnight. Do I capture tax dollars as purchase? Do people purchase, people from Orlando who come to Highlands County to make a significant purchase? And those taxes, are they captured in the city where the taxes were generated?
Is it county taxes?
County, city, state, yes, whatever, the state taxes, sales
So,
taxes, or is that
This,
all?
it's 6% sales tax, and then we have a surtax on top
Right.
of that of 1.5%.
But that surtax is, I charge whatever county they live in, but the sales tax, do you capture any of that? I ask because AI has become a part of our industry. For 15 years, digital was a part of it, now it's become AI. Probably over 50% of my revenue sales come from outside of Highlands County.
Interesting.
And there's
Wow.
less of the industry rooftops who are serving more because the people know what they want and they just go there.
Right.
But do we capture the sales dollars in the county or in the city, municipality?
I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Nobody does.
I could ask somebody to find out.
But it's become, because of some of your talk, your digital presence by the people in New York, that they started in the AI world. It certainly is very directive for the person looking.
It is.
If you go into AI and they want to talk about your surfboarding, and do you have a presence on AI? It is believable and it directs people.
So that is a lot of the conversation when we look at our website and what people are searching for, because we want to make sure, it used to be search engine optimization. You wanted your website to come up high. Now it's generative engine, the GEO. So that's why we look so much at what people are looking for, so then we can write content for those people. So when they're searching, they find stuff. So that's why, it's really disheartening when there's negative comments about any of our cities, because that's coming up in people's searches. And we really want everything to be positive and, what a great place it is. But we do look at that quite a bit. AI is huge for travel. It's a really big deal.
You've come a long way in 10 years. A long
Yes,
way.
sir. I know, a lot more wrinkles.
The whole idea.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Hart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Casey.
Excited about this weekend.
Yes.
Thank you.
Action agenda C2, discussion on advisory board officer position changes for fiscal year 26-27 CRA project coordinator, Ms. Jeanette Wanzer.
Thank you. The purpose is that we have a discussion about the election year that's coming up October 1. It's supposed to be a yearly election of the chair and the vice chair. And I'm not sure if you guys did it last year, 2025. I don't know if you remember or not.
I think we did, and didn't we vote in Rick because he was gone?
Yes.
And so maybe we do Rick and Dana since she's gone.
Well, I think we've typically probably not followed it, but we've done it as a 2-year term.
Yes, the last bylaw just said a 1-year term.
Yeah, we haven't followed that. If you're voted in, you're in there for 2 years. So we need to
So would you like,
clean up our house.
right, would you like for the bylaws to be updated to 2-year terms instead of a year term?
It takes longer to update a bylaw than it does just to act better. So I think we just need to act better. Act to the bylaw. And Rick was asking that question too. He says he was hoping that somebody would grab the mic and lead this for the next year.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Not me. I'm already chairing the
This is your
airport
test- this is
advisory.
your test run. So, How do you want to conduct this?
Do we have any volunteers to be chair and vice chair?
Vice Chair?
Any nominations?
Kevin's been on this thing the longest. Have you ever served as chair?
No, sir.
Would
Your
you,
turn.
would you like to step
You're
up
up.
You're up.
and serve as chair?
You have the longest tenure on this committee.
You're right.
And I know you've gone to a lot of the training as well.
That's also true.
Are you willing to serve?
And, to be honest with you, not at the moment. Just being truthful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right.
Very good. Kevin, you do vice chair?
I have vice.
You will?
I have vice.
Okay.
You gonna make a motion?
Make a motion. Let me see how we're gonna word this.
Separate, right, piece by piece.
Separate motion.
Do we do them,
No. See this, what you wrote for me.
you want them individually or do we?
I
I
think we should
think
do
it's
it individually.
Yes, individually.
Okay. I'm going brain dead here.
I can't
I remember Chris just didn't remember Downey. Make a motion that, to elect Chris Downey as the chair for the advisory, CRA Advisory Board for 26, 27.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Have a second motion. Excuse me.
I'm gonna do the roll call.
Oh, go ahead.
Member Jarrett,
Yes.
member Lanfair,
Yes.
member Sevengy, member Shepherd,
Yes.
member Downey,
Recuse.
member Snell,
Yes.
and member, Chair Hayes. Absent. Okay, you can do this. You can do the second.
Thank you, John.
Second motion to elect Mr. Shepherd as the vice chair for fiscal year 26, 27.
I'll second it.
Have a second. Please call the roll.
Member Jarrett,
Yes, ma'am.
member Lanfair,
Yes.
member Sevengy, member Shepherd,
Yes.
member Downey,
Yes.
member Snell,
Yeah.
and Chair Hayes.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen, for stepping up. Action agenda C3, discussion on street lighting budget category for the South Side and the Main Street CRA City Manager Jason Atkinson.
Yeah, so when we were at our budget workshops, it came up regarding the potential use of street lighting coming out of the infrastructure fund. So instead of the CRA fund, and we're blended right now, there's two projects that go over from the Main Street CRA and also the South Side CRA. And that project would then get us to, two overlapping budgets, but also infrastructure is citywide. So trying to get a feel, the constituents and the people that came to the workshop, a good amount were wanting, okay, let's try to keep the funding in the CRA. And, ultimately the CRA board's gonna have to, decide what they want to do. At what percentage do they want to do, half and half? Do they want to do everything coming out of the CRA? Or do they want everything coming out of the infrastructure fund? So this is just, I wanted to have the discussion amongst everybody to see your feel based off of what took place at the workshops. I want to hear from you all.
Yeah, I think there was some concern about using the CRA money that could be available for other projects versus being available for the street lighting. And I think if I'm reading it correctly, it sounds like you're trying to half it.
Yeah, it's up to you all to discuss. I want if preferably I'd like the discussion there, then you all say, what you feel, and then
Yeah, so currently it was supposed to come out of the full budget, right? Was the full cost
Yeah,
of it?
originally.
So instead of that, there was good conversations. I think Ms. Taylor had a good
Right.
comment about it a couple times.
Yeah.
I think the fact of the matter is maybe if we take out half of the cost of that and put it into infrastructure, that allows the other half to remain in the CRA for special projects that may come up. I think in my opinion, I think it's a good idea.
And we had a meeting on Monday where we went over the budget again. There was another presentation. And at that time, it didn't come out of there. No one said anything for infrastructure to come out. However, still we have to end up coming back and meeting again.
Right.
But this will kind of, hear from you all what you think.
Yeah, because safety, if I remember correctly, reading the document, safety was in the CRA plan. That's where it was kind of falling underneath that. But
Yeah,
I think it was, I can tell you, Ms. Taylor's in the audience. I heard you loud and clear, and I think that if we can take some of that money out of leave some of that money in the CRA and then use infrastructure for the other half of it, at the very least, I think that's a great idea. So I think I remember correctly writing down the comments on that page. Ms. Taylor?
Can I speak?
yeah, it's open.
Bernice Taylor, 1263 Memorial Drive. Chris, you said you heard me loud and clear. I'm not sure if this board is aware, but lighting falls under security. And the sidewalks, all of that falls under infrastructure. Those are things that the city is required,
Right. But if I remember correctly,
no matter where they are in the city.
right, but I think you,
Sidewalks is for safety. Lighting is for security. And all of that falls under the infrastructure fund.
right,
Now, all the other little things that we like, we want for pleasure, enjoyment, that falls under the CRA.
right,
And so some kind of way, the lightings, sidewalks, that got placed under the CRA originally, and it should have never.
but ma'am, you voted for that to pass. You said yes to that. I was at the meeting when you
I
said,
said yes to what?
you voted on that. You approved it
On what?
to go through as the CRA. You approved it.
You talking last year?
Whenever you approved, I think it was
No,
last year,
no.
whenever you approved it.
No. Let's make sure we get this right.
I am.
Let's make sure we get this right. You're talking about when me and Brittany was debating?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Yes. Dr. Kelly spoke to me and told me that it will get placed under the infrastructure. Now, this is where I made the mistake at. I made the mistake of not fighting for it. Now, Dr. Kelly is not here. And something that I was giving way to because she needed to pass the budget per her conversation, and please don't hold it up anymore. But I'll make sure that you get your infrastructure and your lighting. Now, Dr. Kelly is not here, and now I got to go back and fight for something that I shouldn't have had to fight for from the beginning. And the point I'm trying to make is, no matter if I agreed to it or not, which I did, because on the backside, I thought she was going to make way for it. Bernice, let me pass my budget. Well, I get it. But the point I'm trying to make is, I should have never had to fight for it, because those kind of line items belongs on the infrastructure. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I wasn't, you're directing it to me. I wasn't involved in that.
Right, you wasn't.
I'm trying to help you, ma'am. I'm trying to help you.
Not
and
by
ease that
saying
burden.
half of it. Not by saying half of it.
Ma'am,
There's
I
no
said it-
help in that.
I said at the least.
What?
I said at the least. I'm
Least
trying-
what?
At the least half. Bernice, I am trying to help you. I am not.
I don't.
the person that
I'm
decided
not
any of
saying
this.
that you're
No,
trying
but
to
if-
help
but you are
or not
directing it-
trying to help.
I need to
I'm
be very
just.
clear.
I'm just saying that we should follow different line items wherever they should be placed on the budget,
Right.
on different funds. That's where they should be placed.
Right. Wasn't that your duty before you voted to do that? I had no dog in that race.
Yes, you are absolutely correct, and I told you why I did it. But now that got carried over
I hear
to
you. I hear you.
26, 27,
Yep.
and I'm here to fight for
I
it.
hear you.
Let me
Yes,
ask you
sir.
this, Ms. Bernice.
Yes, sir.
Are you wanting, if I'm understanding this right, you've got funds in the infrastructure project that can pay for it, and Jason's asking for us to consider allowing CRA funds to pay for it as well, correct?
Yes.
Yes, so,
Okay, so if we make a motion to allow the CRA board to utilize these funds, then that would accomplish your goals and your goals, correct?
No,
No, okay.
I'm saying the CRA shouldn't have to pay for it. I'm not even sure why it came before y'all, if you want the truth. It is something that if you know where certain items should be placed, which is infrastructure, infrastructure goes under the infrastructure fund. And these items are infrastructure. So why they being, you know what, let's just keep this real here. The only reason this is it, because this memorial rides right down the middle of the south side. But I think what this city fails to forget is that Memorial is a corridor to Sebring, Okeechobee, coming through here. We get a lot of traffic here. It's not just south side that's using Memorial. The whole city uses Memorial. They come off of 27 to Bell, to Cornell, and down Memorial. But it's like, because it's in Memorial, we got to use the CRA fund because it's on Memorial. I sometimes wonder if it was on 27, out of the CRA district, would we be having this conversation?
Man, the conversation you're having right now should have been had before you voted yes.
I agree. And I
So-
already
and-
said that. We already done bypassed that.
right.
We in another different
Right, so
year
we're in
now.
a position to help you with this?
I don't understand how. I just don't. Like I said, it shouldn't even be coming to the CRA. It ain't even a CRA question. It ain't even a CRA situation.
okay, I'll add a little bit. I didn't go to, to the point. I didn't go to CRA budget workshops back in the day. I didn't. I attended every single CRA budget workshop, make sure I was there. Jeanette was there, and had a great time. Southside, it was just as good afterwards with the food and everything else and talking to everybody. Excellent time. So at that moment, we heard what the CRA wanted. Ms. Taylor spoke about it and brought it up and spoke about the budgeting. The reason why it was there, when I get a budget, or I look at it and I see that the money has been used out of there, I would imagine there was some kind of due diligence that would be a reason why. Now, looking from the outside, I think maybe the CRA somehow is to help alleviate certain expenditures that would then fall on the infrastructure budget. And I think that's partially why it was used, and maybe it was used because they couldn't find all the things to spend the money on. Who knows? I'm not quite sure. I can't tell you. That would be guessing, right? But what I can say is that I heard it. I made sure that it got on the agenda for tonight so we can discuss it amongst everybody here to say, no, it's not no backdoor dealing or nothing. No, it's here to have the discussion and hear exactly what the community has to say. And you say, hey, we think it's fair that it would be, that these funds come out of half and half. And if that's what you all decide, well, then there's going to be another CRA. We also have to finish up the budget, the actual budget, because there's going to be the readings. We have to take all this information. We just had the workshops, and now we're getting ready to have to come in and say, this is what they're ultimately going to vote on. There's going to be some minor tweaks, but it's going to be up to the CRA board to make the recommendation on what the CRA budget is, right? And then when it comes over to infrastructure, which can be used for many things, and you never know, it's been, sometimes you get a little nervous of, you go put it over there because you think the CRA funds are going to dry up and the state's going to take that money and you're not going to have it anymore. Right. So you put it in there and you try to spend it, or you get it, and just that's ways that things happen. Now, I don't know, but it's the recommendation for here to hear what everyone has to say that's attending the meeting tonight, to let us know. And then you tell me, I go back, we make our adjustments, we propose it and say, city council, are you good with this coming out of infrastructure? Because the city council could turn around and say no. And I say this, it's
we have 5 council people. Now we have, the city has 5 council people. Those 5 council people don't all think the same. Now, just as much as Councilwoman Taylor can say, I'm against it, you may have someone else saying, I'm fully for it. You never know how it plays out. That's why we vote. That's why we have different representation. And it's understood. And I want to make sure that her voice is heard, but also others have to have their voice heard, right? So, but hopefully we come to a consensus and we have something that everybody agree upon. So that's why I want to make sure that we have this in front of you, and then you make the recommendation, say, yeah, I agree. We would like to free up. So if we free up some of that money, just say it was, 170,000, we put 100 in the infrastructure and 70 from CRA. Okay. And then we take that back and we make sure, but the ultimate decision, we're here to provide options, and then policy and the adopting of the budget comes from the council or the CRA board. So that's what we're here to do, provide the options, be forward facing, let you know exactly where
And
we
the
stand.
recommendation could be changed anyway by the time it gets to the full board,
Exactly.
so.
True enough. Good evening. Brenda Gray, 410 East Lakeview Drive, Avon Park. I am here to request your cooperation to not allow the the streets and the lighting and the sidewalks be paid for out of the CRA funds. Simply because there are other things on the south side that can be done with those funds. I think when Jason came to the Southside CRA workshop, he explained to the individuals there that it was budgeted there, the streets and the sidewalks and everything, but because he had to put it somewhere, because if it wasn't budgeted, it would be, there's a possibility that the county could take the funds back. And I think there are other line items that the funds could be spent on. And I think we probably may have eliminated some facade grants because we ran out of money. And I know that there's other things that funds can be spent on. So my suggestion to this board is to please to allow the funds to be spent out of the infrastructure fund and make the recommendation that it not be spent out of the Southside CRA funds. Thank you.
Thank you.
In that meeting, was there a list of items generated out of that meeting that?
Yeah, and we will ultimately get into it. If you guys say, I mean, it's to make a recommendation on how would you like to do it, whether it works, whatever works best. You say full, we want all the funds to come out. But we did put together the budget from what we heard and what we'd like to bring forward, and that will be coming up next. However, it's just, I guess maybe I don't know if you need an actual number or
Yeah.
percentage per se.
Do we have that?
The total is $271,000 for the lighting alone. And that's the lighting for the Safe to School as well as the Memorial Street lighting. And then you add another 50,000 for the pathway, which is the sidewalk.
What was the first word?
270.
No, I'm sorry. What was the first word you said of the 3 examples?
I said it's 50,000 for the pathway, that's the sidewalk.
Got that
And
one.
it's 271,000 combined for Safe to School and the
What is
Memorial.
it?
Safe to schools.
Safe to
Lighting.
school.
Not all at one time, please.
Okay,
Safe to
Safe to School lighting. That's on Ernest E. Sims Street. It's
Okay,
dark and the kids catch the bus.
That's actually in the southeast.
That's in the south side, yes.
Okay,
As well as Memorial Street lighting.
okay. Are we apart? Do you want to speak first, or you want me to?
If you don't mind. Thank you. Crystal Bryant, 185 Amusing Avenue, Avon Park. 2 questions. Ms. Gray just said that she recalled you, Jason, saying that you had to put those items, you had to budget those items, right? So you had to put them somewhere, right? And even though they are located in this CRA, they are the infrastructure afford them?
Okay. So I do want to say this. The budget presentation that you had,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't made by me. That we have stuff from the past, but Jeanette made those items.
Okay.
What I can say is that where they filled in and how we are moving forward, and that's the whole goal is moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
is we can plug them in, and yes, we can put them into infrastructure. I will say that infrastructure is going to start getting hit up a little bit more because of we have a fire station that we're still going to try to get a grant from, but that alone is like $4.5 million for that fire station, and there may be some overruns, who knows, but can we absorb the street lighting? Sure, we can absorb it. You know, and I told you it's a guess. I think they did it because they needed somewhere to put it, and they didn't want to put the strain on the other side. But or the potential that they may lose those funds. I think that's why they ultimately did it that way.
Understood. So
And
the
also,
infrastructure.
before you finish, I
Mhm.
just want to make sure that everybody understands. The numbers that I presented for the street lighting and the safe to school lighting was what was proposed in the 2025-26 budget by the prior administration. Those
Understood.
were not my numbers.
Yes, ma'am.
So just make
Understood.
sure that's clear.
No, I've heard it several times today that it was with Dr. Kelly. So thank you for that update. Also, even though it has been put in the CRA, the infrastructure can afford it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And if infrastructure can afford it, how come it's presented in the CRA and not corrected? You know, and replaced back into the infrastructure, especially if a prior, administration put it there. Can someone make that correction, look at it and say, hey, this really doesn't go here?
No,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's like what I just talked about. There's 5 council people. There's 5 council people. There's only one that's here to
So
what's
none of the
two?
council
There's
men or
there's two
women
here.
can go through and
Right.
make that correction.
So it's not necessarily a correction. It's a desire. Okay, it's a desire because it can be in the CRA and it can be in the infrastructure. It's a desire of how management goes about doing it. The way I act as
And whose management?
it that was done prior to me. That would have been Dr. Kelly and the 5, the CRA and everyone else.
Right. So, but now there's a new management, right? And there's an intention to this situation.
Right.
So now it falls on you.
Yeah.
How does management want to move?
Right. So
No, that's a question. How does management want to move?
how management, me
You-
as the manager,
You, sir.
how
yes.
I want to manage is I want to talk and put it out to everybody here to get the opinion of the staff, and then propose it over to let the advisory board actually have a voice in the matter, so they can, because they're the ones that ultimately have to decide how they would like to do the CRA budget. And at times, so you know, they sometimes feel discounted because they feel that they're not a part of the process. And I want to make sure that the advisory boards and the workshops actually mean something. So going out and sitting and listening to everybody who has an opinion, that's how I manage. So that's why it's here in front, so you can hear exactly, just so you get up to the mic, I hear you clearly. But we are moving forward, and yes, that the goal is to put it where I say we can spend it here and here, but board, uh, um, advisory board, CRA board, city council, you are the ones that make the ultimate decision.
So what I hear is you hear and you present. So what I hear also too is that the South Side can trust your presentation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you know, I did go get numbers, and also like even the decisions that the CRA makes, and always know this, the CRAs they make things better with projects. They can't necessarily make many things better with maintenance. So then city staff ultimately has to take that on, and sometimes that project will then come on and be an additional source or cost. So some of the street lighting that we have going in, there's going to be additional costs for electricity. There's going to be costs for kind of like an insurance on the poles. If someone hits the poles, then we have the replacements. But there will be a monthly cost that will be increased from the additional poles.
So
Now,
I'll
it's,
expect this same concern to be whenever the TDC presents their presentation again about the cost and the maintenance because she had a great presentation.
yeah.
You know, so I would want you to consider, you know, that idea too whenever it's time to have that discussion. My second question is for Chris. So you said some of the money could be given to the south side or given back to infrastructure, meaning that you want to half the money for CRA and half the money for infrastructure. Why half and why not whole?
My correct statement was at least half. That was my initial offering,
Hmm.
trying to correct a mistake that was made in a vote that created this problem.
Understood. So what I hear is you acknowledge that there's a correction that needs to be made, right? And you're,
Ms. Taylor said she acknowledged there was a correction that needs to be
well, do
made.
you acknowledge her acknowledgement? Do you agree with her
I'm
acknowledgement?
the one that started this conversation. We need to correct it. That's why I'm
O-
here. That's why we're here.
Okay, so what I hear is that you acknowledge that a correction needs to be made
Mhm.
and you're willing to just go less than half the way.
I think my star offer was at least half, which could be all. When you say at least, that's the correct language to use as it's an opener.
If you
Okay.
don't mind, if I ask you a question, would you like to see that paid for out of the infrastructure budget at the city, or if need be, CRA dollars contributed to that to help see those projects through?
From my understanding, at the workshop meeting, I was understood that the lighting, the sidewalk lighting, the sidewalk pathway, the lighting for the safe schools, and the Memorial Street lighting was funded from this infrastructure, right? From the infrastructure. And if it's funded through the infrastructure, and if that's what where it's supposed to come from, let's be clear, let's be frank and pay for it from there. Ms. Gray said there are some other items that I'm not aware of, but she's aware of allegedly that could be paid from the CRA. So let's keep it clean. If anything, let's keep it clean. If infrastructure can afford these things,
Mhm.
pay for it. Why not? And you know, make the correction. Let's keep moving. If
My-
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
Crystal, I agree with you. I think the next question would be, and I appreciate
Yes, sir.
you asking, how much absorption are we looking at, Jason? What is the,
$321,000.
okay, that's a number I just wrote down.
Yeah.
I just wrote that number down. So
Thank you.
you guys want to discuss this?
Is there anybody else from the audience that would like to speak?
Bernice Taylor, 1263 Memorial. I'm not sure if this board is aware of what line items comes out of what fund. I'm not sure if y'all even aware of it. And if you were aware of it, I'm not even sure what's the purpose of the discussion. Because sidewalks is for safety and lighting is for security. And that falls under the infrastructure of the city.
So why
That
did
is
you say
something
yes?
that the city must provide its citizens.
So why did you say yes?
Why did I? Okay, can I say this? You keep going back on, this is a whole new budget. You might as well let that rest. This is a whole new budget because that funding has been transferred over to the new budget.
Right.
And I'm trying to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So
was a-
once again, when I made that decision for 2025, 26, that was for 2025, 26.
Right.
Now that funding, all that money that we didn't use, it was transferred over to 26, 27. You
Right.
get that?
I do.
So we can keep going back to 2025, 26. It's not going to get us anywhere. I'm trying to make sure going forward that the money gets spent this time where it comes out of the fund that it's supposed to come out of.
Right. I only say that because you made an assumption that we didn't know about budgets.
Well, I didn't
But
know.
we're not the ones that voted.
I didn't know. And I'm not going to go back and forth with you, Chris,
I'm
on
just
budget.
ma'am, I'm being very clear with you.
And I told you why. Did I not?
You
I
certainly did,
wanted
but you also
Dr.
made an
Kelly
assumption.
was
I just
trying to
wanna-
pass
I just
it.
wanna
She
make a
was
statement.
she
You
was
made an
trying to pass a
assumption.
budget. That's all she was trying to do.
You made an
And I was trying to assist her, not knowing she was getting ready to get out of here, and she was trying to pass that budget before she get out of here. And she told me just let it go. This is after the meeting. Let it go. I'll make sure that this goes into the right funding and we get those lights. And before she left, we sat down and we picked our lights. Okay? We went as far as there. She had 5, 6, 7, 8 different lights. So I was gonna get what I was gonna get. There was no doubt in my mind. But she left. And yes, I did vote for.
We understand your position.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I
let
think
me,
we're good with that.
let me
Chris,
close, let me close with
what's
this.
going on?
I appreciate what you said, but you made an assumption that we didn't know what we were doing. I had to respond to that.
Well, Chris, only thing I'm saying is it may be some people up here that don't know what certain funds come out of certain budget. It may be, I don't know.
Right.
Because I feel as though if you did know, everybody, there shouldn't be a discussion on this. If everybody knew what funds each items come out of.
Yep,
So
exactly.
I'll add something. So on the just so y'all know, when you get into the CRA, you read the CRA plan. A lot of the CRA plan, what it talks about, widening of sidewalks and all this other good stuff, right? But you can also do it out of infrastructure, right? So it's a desire. It's a correction. It's a desire. It's which way do you desire to go? That's how we run government. How do you want to desire? You want this project? You want this project? You want this much to come from there? You want that much? It's a desire. When you're allowed to do either or, wasn't a wrong choice. It was maybe someone selected and didn't get the feel of the community. Maybe didn't attend the community meetings. Maybe it wasn't brought up, but it's brought up now. We made sure we brought it up here. It's part of the community to hear what the community had to say. So that's why it's here, and it's for up to y'all to decide what we're doing. But it's a desire, not a correction. Okay.
Crystal Bryant, I gotta say it all over again. Crystal Bryant, 185 Amusement Avenue, here at Avon Park. Jason, how do I get a copy of that plan, that CRA plan?
It's on the website. but
I
if you
checked the
wanna have-
website and I'll be
It's
on
there.
it.
It's under
Yeah, it's there.
CRA redevelopment.
Yep.
When you go to the website,
I'll check
just
again.
click on CRA, and it'll take you to the plan and the maps for all of our districts. If you have any problems, please call me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And in addition, just sometimes I get a little confused with it too. You can go to just Google, just put Avon Park Main Street CRA plan or Avon Park Southside CRA plan, and it'll go show you a PDF, and you click on it, and it'll open right up.
So
We've heard from the audience.
Yeah, so we make a motion.
Well, there's discussion right now. Are there any?
Is there any more discussion? I think we already.
You can make a motion still have a discussion.
Yes, if you-
Yes, I think we need to make a motion that, all the expenses for the lighting, from the south side, and also which was included with memorial, be taken out of the infrastructure budget instead of, the CRA budget.
I second it.
we have a motion, a second. Please call the roll.
Oh.
Oh, excuse me, we
Are
got
we gonna get
discussion.
to discuss up here?
Okay, excuse me, let me
I didn't
back
want to
up.
interrupt the young lady there.
Yes,
Are
sir.
we going to discuss this?
Yes, well, wait a minute, let me ask you. We've got a motion on the floor
Okay.
in a second. So do we,
It's open for
we
discussion.
can now discuss?
Open for
Okay,
discussion.
just want to make sure I'm following procedure correct.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a fantastic job. I want to go back to what I remember, that as an advisory board, we were asked to form a budget. Very clear of where it went. Are we a part of that step this year?
Yes.
When?
Well, today we're going to show you part of the budget, and then you can say, "I like that."
We're going to do a budget.
Yes, we
Yes,
do a
right after this, and then you're going to be able to. Hopefully, you studied up for it. All right, no, I'm joking. So, but you
Okay,
yes,
so last year, in first 4 years, we did a budget. And we put things very common. I very distinctly remember taking CRA funds in a budget to work on Memorial Avenue or Street and work on lighting and making that recommendation as an advisory board for the CRA, would you like to consider this? And when it went to the CRA board, I never heard back of a alternative method of what we recommended.
Mm.
So we set ourselves up for failure
Mm.
by recommending if this is what the community did not want.
Mm.
But we did recommend it as an advisory board as best use of funds. Can you, anybody up here, tell me what the budget is today compared to what it was last year? Is it grown? Is the dollars grown?
Yes.
It's so if it's, you have the pot of money, so you,
Yes is all I'm, it is going north. It is growing. We have never been able to stop the growth because we've never been able to accomplish the final, getting it over the finish line, spending the funds on a project. So our mindset as an advisory board who has acted as volunteers, would you like to come up here and listen to thoughts and listen to ideas and give your opinion? And that's where we've been for 4 years. Could we use the funds? Does it sound great? Can we use the funds out of the Main Street? Because, Ms. Taylor's point of view, Memorial is a main artery into the city. We would like to use them out of the Main Street funds. But we never heard back if it could happen or not happen. But still, we wanted to use funds. So please don't misinterpret the fact that we did not know what we were doing. We did not know where the funds came from. We made a gesture that says, this is the best use of funds because they're not being used for 3 consecutive years.
Right.
Let's go do something everybody wants, lighting and sidewalks.
Yep.
On a main artery going into our wonderful city. I want to be crystal clear. This was done on purpose a year ago. Now, what happened when it got to the CRA and how they voted, and they thought it was unintentional, inappropriate, whatever, never heard back. So now I'm hearing tonight that we might look at another budget, and we'll see that funds are continuing to grow because we can't spend them, or we can't find a way to spend them fast enough.
So what you'll see tonight is a snapshot
Yep, that's
from
fine.
from the workshops of what people have requested
Yeah.
that we use the funds towards.
Oh, that's fine. But I want to be crystal clear to the audience, and people, wonderful people have come forward. It was intentional last year. I fully am going to support the motion. We didn't have this passion last year. We were just trying to
Right.
make something better
Exactly.
for the main artery of this town.
Exactly.
Because the money wasn't being spent, and I wanted to redirect money away from the south side into out of Main Street to help fund this project. All giving the advice from this board, what does the CRA board want to do? And that's how I remember the evolution of the last 18 months. I'm very awestruck of how we got here tonight. I apologize, I was out of town, I was not at the workshop. So that's on me for not knowing until about 20 minutes ago. I apologize. That's what I know as an advisory board member, a volunteer trying to
Do what? I got
do something. I apologize. Thank you.
Brenda Gray, 410 East Lakeview Drive, Avon Park. I understand where you're coming from, and I got to tell you, I have not attended any CRA, well, very few CRA advisory board meetings. I went to the workshop, and the workshop is when I got a full view of the spending of the funds, of the requested spending of the funds. And from my understanding, the funds that they were talking about moving the lighting and whatever else. It was 3 objects on that budget. I can't remember what they were. And then it was talked about this for this fiscal year. And moving forward, I think Jeanette said that there was a $267,000 or something like that was going to be added into the next fiscal year. And then she wanted to know, well, what did the community want for the next fiscal year? but the bulk of the subject stood on, okay, we're in this fiscal year and we're gonna spend that $321,000 on memorial for lighting in the Aileen McWhite Park for something and something. And then that's when the community said, no, we don't wanna do that.
And it's my understanding tonight, we're gonna look at that for the first time.
You all gonna look at it for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, okay, thank you.
And I want to piggyback off what Mr. Jerry Ford said. Mr. Jerry, you was absolutely right in everything you said. And what you may not be aware of is that the last 2 years, we've been spending that money. We've been spending it pretty much on facade grants. And we decided that, I think a lot of us decided that, okay, so enough for spending money on facade grants for individual homes. Now, let's spread our wings so that majority of the South Side can enjoy some of the pleasure of this money as well. So the reason why it was nothing was never done in the last 2 years because we didn't have no money to do anything because we put it all on facade grant. I think Miss Wanza had to come back and ask for what, 20,000? 35,000. And last year, if I'm right, I think when we closed out our budget, it was what, $5,000 left?
No, yeah, it was just,
It was-
we had about
yeah.
maybe 2 or 3 homes we could do, so about 15,000.
Yeah. And so we've been spending it. And now we want to open our wings a little bit more. And there's other things that we want done down there. And we just didn't think that the little money that we had should have to come out of the CRA when they should be coming out of the infrastructure.
Right? Your narrative captures our spirit.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think, and I would like to petition the fact that it should come out of Main Street for memorial. At the end of the day, there's a bucket that the city has. And when the bucket gets, and we probably won't have that happen. But I'd like to discuss many things as to where they might come from as this funds continue to grow. But thank you for the clarity of what got us to tonight.
Thank you, sir.
So we're all aware. Last year, the Special Projects Fund that was available for the South Side CRA was $716,000. Okay? Facade grants had its, was something like $20,000 what was budgeted for facade grants, $20,000. Originally when, what's here online. Now, as you go along, just here's a number, for instance. Say the South Side gets $250,000 per year, right? You add $700,000. All right, you're good to go. Now you spend $100,000. You need a budget for $700,000. If you do not budget for $700,000, then there's a chance that the county can come take that and say, oh, you didn't use it, you didn't budget for it, they could take it, right? So you make all your expenditures, you figure you get budget $700,000. So you only spend $100,000 of it. So now you're down to 600, but next year you're getting at 250. So you're 600. Now you go up to 850. So now this year we got 850. Now we got a budget for 850, right? So that's what we continue to do. And that's how the funds keep growing because we're not completing all of our projects. As you all see, we've been living it, right? So, but there's, yes. So we are moving forward. We got projects all in the pipeline. Even the street lighting that's there that we talked about, the lighting, and let's call it, it's not the actual lights overhead, it's the pedestrian lighting that goes along, right? So those I went out and I got quotes. So I'm ready to roll with that, but I can roll with it in any way, whichever fund it needs to come out of. I already have the price. So at least that's all set, ready to go, and Duke Energy's ready to go out there and install the lights. So I just wanted to bring that up to it wasn't like last year we just had $100,000. No, it's incrementally every year that's how the other funds keep growing. But we need to budget for every dollar in order to keep every dollar.
We've been able to successfully the south side has been able to successfully spend the budgeted item for facades. We have not been able to spend for special projects. And we were looking for something that could spend the money, albeit the narrative given to this advisory board was what has been said a couple of times. If you don't spend it, you run the risk of being judged and asked for it back. So that's the narrative we've been given as an advisory board. Some people have been off to school more than others and learned whether that's a true statement or not. But,
That fell over there too.
so we always form a budget that what can we spend and finish and write the check for in that calendar year?
And when we see the budget here pretty soon, I think everything that I saw that's put on the budget, I think we can accomplish that. And some of those long-standing items have been taking quite a while. That'll be coming off.
This budget has come from the workshop,
Yes.
some portion of it.
Some portions,
Thank you.
and some of it's the rollovers.
Yeah, yes, I would imagine so.
And I didn't see the budget. I don't know where the budget is for this.
We haven't completed, we're just gonna give you a snapshot of it.
And if I remember correctly, from the workshop of the Southside CRA, they wanted a center or I don't know if you presented that.
Those are some of the proposals that I made to the South Side for us to start to think about in our budget, for the possibility of building a community center.
So the
in our
budget, the snapshot you're going to show tonight, maybe I should just wait and see what's in the snapshot.
Well, and listening to that right there, it's also been the advisory board's, I don't say direction or whether, but thought,
Uh-huh.
as I said just a minute ago, what could we spend in a calendar year and build and finish and be done? We can encumber mentally
Yeah.
3 years out.
Yeah.
So a community center tells me that's a 3-year project of architectural drawings, planning, and that's never been in the advisory board's chart to
Oh,
encumber 3 long. We're trying to get everything spent in a
and
calendar
you
year
can't.
or in a budgetary year.
Yeah. I remember when I was on the council many, many years ago, we had served, we budgeted funds, let the county and everybody know what we were planning on spending it on until we got a certain amount. And then we used that certain amount to purchase the land from the railroad people that we built that big ditch in that water don't go in on the south side. Retention pond, there you go. Well, it was a waste of our money, but we budgeted. You understand what I'm saying? So I know you can budget the money and you don't have to spend it in one fiscal year. It can be a 3-year project. And I think that's what the South Side was aiming at.
We can be re-educated.
There you go.
27, 28, 29.
Okay,
Call the question for the vote.
please call the roll.
Member Jarrett,
Yes, ma'am.
Member Lambert,
Yes.
Member Seventy, Member Shepherd,
Yes.
Member Downey,
Absolutely, yes.
Member Snell,
Yes.
and Chair Hayes. Motion passed.
Okay. Action agenda C4, discuss pro watercross races, August 14th through 16th. City Manager.
I think she made a presentation.
Do you want to say something, sir? Okay. Well, it's good. It's the weekend. Come on out. And so everybody knows one of the things that, you know, on the actual vendors and that we've tried to do, and Jeanette's done an excellent job, is try to really get vendors that are entrepreneurs that want to come out and work the event. It's a city event. So how many from the south side do we have?
We have approximately, I think it's 4 vendors from the south side.
So trying to, and I've heard comments and say, try to get the south side to Main Street, and you know, hey, I see one city, but let's try to get everybody there and enjoying the event. You know, so I think that may bring out, I look forward to the barbecue and everything else. I think it's going to be an excellent event. It's going to kick off on Friday, and then the races will be Saturday and Sunday. So come on out. And also, it's going to be football season starts. So Saturday, we put it on our website. Be ready for that. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. And the boat races, the watercross starts at 10 a.m., 10:30
Saturday and
a.m.
Sunday
on
or-
Saturday and Sunday
Okay.
at Donaldson Park.
Thank you for that information. Item D1, under other business, staff update administration.
Matt, if you could pull up the snapshot budget, please. Okay, for the Main Street workshop, we talked about some of the things that are kind of intertwined in there, but we have the facade grants at 100,000, mall improvements at 250,000, gateway improvements at 150,000. Walnut Park, we're still working on that at 200,000. Lighting on Lake Verona, so we want to do some lighting on Lake Verona in the Donaldson Park area. We want to work on our historical signage. We also want to do lighting on Main Street to Butler to Central Avenue. Main Street, we wanted to do interior fencing to make safety for some of the kids on portions of the mall, and also get park furniture. We wanted to have up lighting on Main Street to give us some actual lighting in our tree areas. Shuffleboard Recreational Center, we want to do improvements on the shuffleboard court to make it more user-friendly, to add different games. I think we have cornhole currently along with shuffleboard, and we wanted to put 280,000 into that. Also on 18 East Pine, there's a parking lot that we're going to establish at 180K. And then the mall park on DeSoto, we talked about making a park area where you can have lunch, dinner, lunch, whatever. That's right across from the Little Italy restaurant. Okay. So again, these are all projections. We haven't solidified totals or numbers to date, but these are some of the ideas that we were thinking about. And again, we're going to meet on the 24th of this month, along with the CRA board, to actually solidify the numbers and the projects. Any questions? Okay, here comes the south side. We did facade grants at 100,000. The veterans parking, Veterans Garden parking at 100,000. We closed on the property actually on Tuesday. We closed on that property, so now we're looking
nice.
to get the garden
Awesome.
started.
Awesome.
We also have the community garden at 80,000. That's our community garden for the south side. We're still looking for a location. Memorial Drive pathways, that's one of the objects that we're looking to take off with your recommendation. Lake Tulane park improvements at 100,000. Lake Tulane park improvements. Yes. Demolitions at 35,000. Ben Hicks Street Park, we want to do some improvements, but it's actually Ben Hicks Lake that we're talking about for improvements. Street lighting back to school, which we're asking for removal, it's been recommended. Memorial Drive lighting, which has been recommended for removal. And then gateway signage, we're speaking about the college circle that you're entering to Avon Park up to 27 and Hal McRae signage in that area as well. South Delaney Ave and Hal McRae, we're looking for safety improvements at 53,150. Again, these are projections. Anyone have any comments? I know you probably
Yeah.
can't see. I tried to make the numbers as big as
And
possible.
I want to ask a question amongst the group if possible. So there's the sidewalk. There were sidewalk repairs done, but those were primarily performed kind of north of where the power plant is right there, right? So all that sidewalk where I never see anyone walk down it. It's prone to getting broken up. I think there were in the past, they were talking about potentially making it like having two asphalt paths or whatnot. I'm trying to get a good understanding of, do we even want that sidewalk, to knowing that it's going to continue to get damaged in front of, like, it's a sidewalk to nowhere right now. So it's trying to, okay, where's it going to go to? But we have the multi-use path on the other side, which we're going to make, we're going to put lights and everything over there. So at that actual sidewalk, what do we want to continuously fix it when trucks pull over to the side and snap it? Because as soon as they snap it, it becomes a problem.
You're talking about the sidewalk that's right in front of the power?
Right in front of the power plant.
plant.
That all
Yeah,
that
so we across
sidewalk,
the street is
or
really
do we
nice
want to
and
make
bright.
it like a swale or something? Just just is it continuous, or do we want to go into look and maybe make that some kind of asphalt? And this doesn't necessarily have to be CRA, but right now we're here talking about it. But potentially, if it goes over to infrastructure, is that something where what would be the bet? Would we like to go in and just try to get rid of it, or go in and have two asphalt paths going, kind of running parallel on each side from that, a memorial?
So you're saying north and south, it goes nowhere?
It goes south, north. It goes across the street. It continues. But to the south, where the house is really on the lake, they start to get kind of narrow there. It just stops. So right across from ABC, more or less, it is a dead end there. And then there's a proposal that maybe further it goes somewhere, but there's no other sidewalk going north. I mean south. No other sidewalk going south. Sorry.
I don't really see why we would maintain that one when we got the real nice one across the street.
Yeah, please. Thank you for those thoughts.
Yes, go ahead.
May I ask a question? I think the issue was, Jason, it was undetermined who owned the sidewalk, the city or the county. The county put in the nice walkway on the west side of Memorial. Prior to that, the city put in that little bitty skinny sidewalk on the east side of Memorial, all the way down. So I think there was a confusion as to who actually owned the right of way on Memorial.
Okay. So
We still
yeah.
don't
So
know.
I mean, I'd say
We
this.
know.
Go ahead, Councilman Tanner.
On the bike side, the county owns that. On the sidewalk side, the city owns it. Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's exactly what's said. But I will say this: I've never in this my time in government seen, if you own the street, you own the sidewalks. That's part of the right of way. So you own both. They really own both sides now. And I told him, I said, send me the agreement where we signed off on that. Now, maybe the city installed it, like was said, the city installed that sidewalk, and maybe it said, well, if you install it, now you're responsible for maintaining it. I don't know what took place then, but what I do know is that when there's a roadway that goes down, just like it goes all the way down US 27, it ain't, hey, this side's yours, this side, no, that whole side is theirs. So that's where ultimately, and you can see one side stays mowed, looks pretty good, and the other side doesn't. Now that's where we're going, and basically we're going to come up with we're going to have a memorandum, an agreement where hopefully we'll get paid, and the city will take care of the other side and make sure it looks just as good as the city maintained side. So, but I did want to know, like, what do y'all want to do with that? You want to keep that sidewalk? Because I never see anyone walk. I just feel like it's a maintenance heavy something that we may drop money on, and not necessarily out of this budget, but infrastructure, or do we just want to just make it a swale? Because I don't know who's walking next to the power plant. Yeah. Okay.
I had a question in Bernice Taylor, 1263 Memorial. When you say Lake Tulane Park improvement, we are talking about the pier, right?
Yes.
Because I don't see the word pier up there. And I didn't want nobody to, do their own improvement, even though the community said they wanted a pier.
No,
And the same thing with, I don't think it's called Ben Hicks.
It's
What's
not.
the
It's
lake
a
called?
street. The Ben Hicks is a street, but it's called Leela.
Lila.
L-E-I.
Yeah.
Lotilla.
Who?
Loti-
No,
No, no, no.
Lake
no.
Lotilla.
Talk about the lake.
The lake at
Yeah.
Ben Hicks.
Yeah, what we call old power plant lake.
Yeah.
That is also a pier too, right?
Yes, yes.
I just wanted to make
And
sure.
I put that in there so that way it didn't restrict us to just spending on pier, Councilman Taylor. I wanted to be able to do a little bit more when we put the pier, jazz it up a little bit, do a little extra something in there. So that's why I added those additional items.
Okay, well, maybe you should say like something like pier / improvement.
That's and
That
it's
way we get our pier and it's not a question, after you
un-
gone. I done had this before. I ain't trying to do this again.
understandable. And so sometimes I'll go back and I'll look at these meetings to see exactly what they meant at the time. But point taken. But I'll say this: we're moving on it, so hopefully it'll be there and cross right off. And I already got proposals on some of this. So
And thank you. Okay, here's one more thing I don't see. And that means something may have to come off. I don't know. Is that community garden, is that considered the land as well? That is, right?
That's just the whole proposal.
Whole proposal.
That's
Thank
without
you.
land.
No,
Without-
that's,
Without a location,
okay.
without a location.
Thank you, ma'am.
And the same for the Lake Tulane Park improvements. I researched today, and a lot of that land with the greenage that was mentioned at the workshop in the South Side is owned by Avon Park Housing Authority, not by the city of Avon Park.
Which park?
All that greenage around Lake Tulane is owned by the Avon Park Housing Authority.
You mean the one that we was complaining about all the grass?
and Yes.
They wanted to
Yes.
put some sand out there?
Exactly, and then a part of it is owned by the Fogels, and then the city has from the swing set to the last,
where the sand is, basically.
right, that's all the city owns.
and
So housing
Yeah,
credit.
we don't
And-
own a whole lot of that Lake Tulane.
And there is where the drainage comes down. That's like I want to say 70 yards or 50 yards or something like that to the west. But that's where the drainage actually runs down. So if you had some kind of sand there, then it would be completely washed out.
Right, because I was thinking about parking, because we know that they're starting to have parties over there, and that street, you can barely get through there on the weekends. But again, when we talk about parking, then we gotta talk about retention ponds.
Mhm.
And so we have a lot of things that we probably need to revisit when we think about Lake Tulane improvements. But again, these are the meetings that we'll talk about it and we'll address it, and we're so happy that you're here to help us to move forward.
Question.
Yes.
On the community garden, are we hoping that somebody donate the land for the garden?
Yes,
Oh, okay. And we don't have any potential.
there's
prospects
always
in it?
potential, but again, it's potential,
Okay.
Yeah.
Have anybody came to the city and say?
not to the city, no.
Oh,
no.
Curious how the airport looks.
Yes, sir.
What is the total of that?
Oops. What we had for the budget was the 700 Jason mentioned minus what we've spent out of the CRA, but we gained 256,000, I think it was, or 246,000. I don't remember the exact number. So this total, I'm trying to remember, Danielle, I did it yesterday.
This total,
Yeah,
this total takes you to a net zero. Where there's nothing.
Yeah. Yes.
right.
All
So
these budgets are net zero.
They're gonna be net zero, correct,
You're spending every penny
correct,
on a budget.
on a budget.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I do want to say this since we brought it up, if y'all want. What's missing and what was taken, well, that's a lighting project too. So if we're looking at taking the lighting off, Memorial Drive lighting, 180, and probably some of the sidewalks, what is it in addition you want to move through? Do you want, I see there's some things I see missing on here, but like the path to home ownership, things like that along those lines, do you want to try to fill that in? That's within our plan to or purchasing, acquiring property or whatnot. Do you guys want to start getting into some of these items with the additional revenue that we're going to have, because we have to basically, when we get to this next portion of the meeting, when we meet up, we're going to have something somewhat ready to have some action on, what numbers we're proposing for additional projects to kind of fill this spot. Because I do remember sitting here 2 years ago and then be like, hey, Jason, what can we spend money on? Just like, we could do that, and about how much? And then I was throwing numbers out there. So now, if you have, and you may not need to have it tonight or whatnot, and you can just shoot us an email, but if there's something else that you feel, which it was talking about that center of, maybe we just get to the part where we're acquiring it or something, the gym or whatever you want to do, then maybe we can look at that. But just think of the number that we're going to have and the additional money that we'll need to put towards something else.
So are you done? Oh.
I'm sorry. One more time, then I must be through. Brenda Gray, 410 East Lakeview Drive. There has been some conversation within the community about the community center, Southside Community Resource Center. So I'm very sure, because several people have been coming to me and Councilman Taylor and other people in the community as well, asking how can we get this done. So I'm sure you will be getting some things, some emails, some questions, and about what the community would like to see in the South Side to spend all the money. Probably need to borrow some.
Yeah, and I remember when we were doing this, we kind of cut. I think one of the things that fell out was the signage coming in, but that could be something that we put back.
Someone said that.
Yeah. So that's just think about it as a community, and you can email Jeanette, and we can come up with something. Okay.
So your number was 939,150. You take out the 231 that Kelvin and I agreed upon for the vote. You're looking at 618,150. So to your point, a large discussion, and Mr. Snell, if you remember exactly that, we talked about home ownership and that kind of stuff in the South. So there's that 321, to your point, Jason, that was left out.
Yeah, and we can do something, because I think that's a good use of funds. It's something that we're not looking at. One of the things to look at is getting people in on the lots or helping them buy down. We can help buy down loan rates and everything else. Like, say, instead of having a 5.75, maybe get down to a 4 point something or whatever. There's those opportunities that are available. We can help them with down payment assistance. I've reached out to the bank over here on what's it, Sun State? South State Bank, and they're willing to come in and talk to homeowners that help them get into home ownership. Architectural, you could help them with plans. We can come up with like maybe 6 or 7 sets of plans that we design, and then it eliminates the burden if someone wants to get in on a lot, because ultimately we want some of these lots filled in. We would like them to get filled in a neighborhood so they look better and increases the tax base. That's the whole goal of the CRA, is to make it look better and fill in the properties. So if that's in addition to what you would like to do, and I think that was missing somewhat on the first slide because there are adjustments on the Main Street side. So I want to get your opinion on that. All those things.
You done? Take a breath. All right, good. Has this been agreed upon?
No, sir. It's just a snapshot.
Okay, prior 4 years, we categorized things. We didn't get this specific. Kudos to those who wanted that this nice. Are we supposed to go out and visit these places? Or do you just want our yes or no vote based on what's on a sheet?
If you want to go out for visits,
No, I
you
don't,
can.
I don't know.
But
It
again,
looks like we're going pretty fast here and I'm good. But, I don't know if we're doing this tonight or we're supposed to go think about something. What is my direction?
your direction is to take it, think about it. If you need to get a hard copy, I'll email you a hard copy.
Well, I'll go online, but do you
It's not
want
online.
us to go look at this, or this is what the community, the city has agreed, this is the best case use of funds? And we're supposed to just, I agree.
No, this is not even a motion or anything. It's
Okay,
just,
I just don't know
re-
where we're at with
yeah, it's
this.
just an idea for you to look at. These are some of the ideas that the CRA project coordinator came up with.
Great.
Take it past the finance director, who wants specifics. She
Yeah,
doesn't
you-
want something basic. She
very
wants
thorough,
specifics. She's very thorough that way. So I gave her specifics. And
Okay.
this is just to propose to you. It's for you to say, okay, this is something for me to think about. And when we come together on the 24th to actually adopt these numbers,
Oh,
then
okay.
you will be informed.
We're coming back on the
The
24th.
24th of August
As a
at
joint.
5 p.m. as a
August.
joint with the CRA board.
Oh, the CRA board's gonna vote on it.
No, you're gonna vote as well.
Well, our votes don't count at the CRA.
Have a joint meeting.
It's a joint meeting.
Well,
So still
Your
have
advice
an
is-
yeah,
we
right,
advise in that.
right.
So they
Your
count for 5
recommendations will be
votes.
heard.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm getting clear because again, after 4 years, we always gave, categories.
Yep.
We divided up in silos. Advertising, signs, facades, demolition. We didn't get that specific, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if I was supposed to go out and look at it.
So,
And,
That's always an option.
well, I don't want to do it if nobody else is.
No. Do we need to add the 321 back in to the home ownership potential? Do we need to make a vote on that
no,
tonight?
it's not the vote. It's,
We're
you
just
you
gonna vote on the
just,
24th.
yeah,
Add back
yeah.
the-
So this is getting, for those who weren't able to make the workshops, right? Maybe you went to one, but you didn't go to the other two, or maybe whatever, okay? Maybe you went to none of them. However, it's here and it's formalized where we're actually in an advisory board meeting, because the others more for open dialogue, even this is, we have to get to the point here where we start finalizing numbers so we can pass, on our budget. So, yeah, there will be, because there's things missing off of there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can go back, Max,
And-
please.
Can you give us an example?
So I'll give you an example. The gateway improvements on Main Street, that's gonna come off because you already have the historical signage, which I think I dropped to like, what, 60 grand? So whatever reason, so the gateway improvements are gonna come off of there, and what we had in its place was, we had like home ownership, purchasing property, and I also had trying to acquire land. So my goal is there's another piece of property to try to acquire, which is, we're close. The design's there. The design's been completed. Now it's just a submission, and then we'll be going out to bid for that 18 East Pine Street. So I kind of gave the thumbs up on that. So that's getting ready to get submitted out to the building department and everything.
Talk about that as a group, right there. Can you put a pin in it and talk about that? 2 years ago, we took a leap of faith that it would be acceptable to start demolition.
Yeah.
Now, it's being introduced to the advisory board to start acquiring. What's the feeling of the advisory board of acquiring assets? I mean, it's very intriguing, very positive thinking, but this is the
Yep.
first time this board,
So-
as a group, has been able to discuss about using funds to acquire assets.
And we've had our conversations where you've told me, and
But I
I'm,
wanna
yeah,
make sure
yeah.
that
So,
everybody-
yeah.
I don't want to
And-
get lost into
and-
the fact, because it's a new concept, it's a
So-
new silo, if you will.
And
So we went to that, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jason. Went to the workshop, right? And that was a major part of like an eye-opening, oh my God, that's a possibility, that can actually happen. So the fact that your dream of doing that is actually a viable thing with the CRA.
It's never been discussed.
Right, never been
To
thoroughly
give
discussed.
advice
Right.
from a group to a governing body, say, we believe or not believe in this concept.
Right.
Do we believe in it or not believe in it?
I believe
I
in it.
believe in it.
I think we all believe in it.
Generate revenue.
I'd rather see us do that than even facade grants personally, but
Yes.
if,
I just want to hear
Is there-
voices out loud.
Well, the reason why it also drives your tax base, it's gonna increase your tax base, which is the whole purpose of why we're at this table.
And
so-
Mr. Snell, you have an opinion on this?
no, so people online can hear you.
Okay, but anyway, what I said at the workshop that was intriguing or new to others, that keep in mind, after we spent to zero, we do have a line of credit.
Yep.
That we've never utilized. And that's where,
Does a line of credit cost interest?
I couldn't tell you, Mr. Garrett, because we've never.
I think Jason just started reaching out to South State.
Because as an advisor, if I have to pay interest, I'm a hard no.
Right.
Well, if the interest-
I don't
If it's
know
free
what-
money,
I don't
I'll
know.
take
If, I don't know if, but I do know that each.
But
Main Street has a
thank you
line
for
of-
bringing that up for the
Yeah.
first time, to me. Thank you.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're welcome.
I don't know about a line of credit
Yeah.
in the CRA world.
That's what was being proposed potentially, and the reason what the last time for whatever the plan they were looking to accomplish, so they can go out, get a line of credit, do a project, so in case the money was taken from us, then they can say, oh, we already grabbed the credit and we owe that money, so and we're indebted to them, so you got to let us have our revenue even though you took it away, and that was kind of a thing. On my side, I get it. I understand the purpose of it. Maybe for a larger scale purchase, if we're going to do a larger size project, that's something we can do. From the manager standpoint, I just really love the fact that our city's fiscally responsible and we do not have debt. So that allows us to move well. And when times get rough, we're able to have a decent bank account. But it's a good point that if you get to, but I think you do that when you identify the project and it's a have to have versus let's go get you get that line of credit and then, I don't know what happened. I just don't want to get to a point where we're indebted now having to pay that as a city. That's
The
my.
line of credit was approached to this advisory board based on a Senate and House representative possibly voting against CRAs.
Yep.
That was strictly, it was a 90-day, this is an opportunity to keep the funds that have already been allocated to us. It wasn't a line of credit for the next 20 years.
But the line of credit is based on your tip dollars that you receive each year.
Mhm. Yeah, so, thank you. Yes, we're in favor of acquisitions, I guess. Right?
Okay.
So Jason, here's the question. So the 321 we took out, put in infrastructure. We need to have the money budgeted back up to that number,
Not tonight.
but not tonight, right?
Right.
Before
So,
we go home and think about it.
right.
I will have it prepared that we will have it prepared to have alternates in case, like you said,
Right.
you could get a 50-50.
Right.
You could. So however that comes out, I'll try to have the alternates ready with the totals and everything else and have option A, option B or something. And
So I
then
would
if
just
whatever,
suggest-
go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't.
I would just suggest we put the 321 into that home ownership or vacant lot improvement to increase the tax base.
Okay.
And that may be a selling point that may avert what I'm fearing could be a 50-50 instead of a 100%. Because when you, to your point, when you get, and Jim, no deference, Bernice, no deference, but when you get in front of the board, things change from what we decide on. Just being very clear.
As
So-
they should.
As they should, but at the same time, I think we better have a clear or a calling out of that difference. And I think we should put it in the vacant spot, just so we can do our due diligence. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
Noted.
Okay.
and
Okay, and the last one is the airport, Matt, thank you. And I missed putting in the
signs.
signage, so we have about 70K that we're gonna add to the budget. But we did talk about the airport infrastructure at 100,000, Classic Caladium at 30,000, and Dewar Martin Park at 58,860.
And there's additional other parts of the budget. This is more or less the special projects that we were looking at. So the signage, and so y'all know, permits there, I think it was issued for the signage that's going to be over there, kind of by the two fly right there at the,
Oh, no.
where the fence is closest to 64, right by where the two fly hangar is. So at that area, we're going to have our welcome to Avon Park sign will be going up.
When was the last time we spent money?
So the 100,000 that we're talking about for infrastructure, we're in the process of working to get DOT and FAA grant funded projects in place. And if there's a match that we have to do, like 50 grand or something like that from the city, we can use that money to do that to where it's not coming out of the city budget.
When was the last time we spent airport CRA funds? When was the last time we wrote a check?
When I'm writing this, getting ready to write this check now.
No, but
Yeah, now before, I don't.
I don't think it's been the last 3 years.
And I can't remember because we did the whole roof, but I think that came out of infrastructure funds.
But what I'm trying to, in my mind, 3 years we haven't spent, that I can recall, we haven't wrote a check.
Mhm.
And the funds have just grown to that.
It's not much.
You're correct. So it goes pretty quickly, and so maybe this year we'll spend some money on it.
Oh yeah, we plan everything that we have here, and I'm thinking the classic Caladiums. We'll see what we do there, but there might be some larger scale, larger scale roof work or patches that we have to do. But the Dura Martin, we have some projects identified, but the airport infrastructure really is going to be key because our airport fund needs the assistance. And there's some things, there may be some capital purchases on lighting that we have to do immediately. And some of that may come out of that money.
Good. Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Okay, D2, board update discussion. I'm not sure what that's.
You guys have any updates or discussions?
Any training showing too?
As you see, I also added the FRA training for October. We have a space for 3 people. Okay, so
Where
that's,
in-
so far that's Chris and I and Kelvin, so it's taken.
All right.
Oh, Kevin, Vice Chair's gone? Well, that was slow to move here. Was that close? That close to getting educated.
It's in Winter Haven too, probably. Is it in Winter Haven again, Janet?
Gotta move quicker than that.
Is it in Winter Haven
Okay.
again?
Say it one
Is it in
more time.
Winter Haven or where is it?
No, this is Charlotte. It's the flyer that I put next
Oh,
to
you can
your
go.
agenda.
Charlotte, North Carolina?
Charlotte, Florida.
Hey,
Try some off.
now where you at?
Item D3, public participation. I believe we've got it all
I think
taken
so.
care of.
Did very well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. Item E1, the next CRA advisory meeting will be Thursday, September 10th, 2026 at 5:30. Meeting is adjourned.
But we also have the meeting on August 24th for the budget at 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
24th is what day of the week?
That's a Monday.
That's here or there?
It's gonna be, hope, it should be back at the chambers. Voting should be over. Did you make a motion to adjourn, sir?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion, have a second. All in favor, or please call the roll.
Call the roll for that. Over,
Thank you.
Overbearing chairman.
overachiever.